My rule for people is to not. No one's allowed to do drugs I wouldn't do. That's my general rule. I do it on purpose, and I say it on purpose to keep my family safe, my siblings, and honestly, you can turn the gain. We can turn gain up.
Sure.
Go ahead and turn that up, and then you can also turn your audio up too, like the bass mic up if you want to.
It doesn't have a bass control.
Okay. We'll wait real quick. Our food is here. One moment. Hello? Hi. Yes. Yep, and it's that middle door, and then it's A4, it's the green door. This happens.
Gotcha.
This is all recorded too.
Sweet.
Yep. No, see that middle door with that's got the stairs behind it that you can. Yeah, that's the. Yep. Thank you. Our food's gonna be here in a moment.
Sick.
I'm gonna have to grab it. So before we get into it, I'm gonna grab that food.
Oh, that's your list of questions, or
This is my list of questions. You're not gonna see them.
I can't even read it.
I know. I can barely read it on here. You should be able to read a bit more now. But
I'm looking for the eager surprises.
Let it run, because normally I send you all questions, and this time around I did not do that. This is strange. I feel like I should be hearing it from my phone. Can you hear?
I could sign in my phone. That'd be great.
I do not want this to be goofed up. Nope, it is. Why can't I hear it from my phone? My baby. What the fuck? My baby. That's crazy.
Hearing it twice is crazy.
I don't know. This was, we have the mics right, and that's the important thing.
How you feel?
Whenever this dude drops his food off, is when I really want to start.
For sure.
Because I see the message, I'm gonna grab the food, we'll set the food out, and we'll get it going. I want folks to know we were prepared. Part of the issue is I tried to use DoorDash, and they didn't have the restaurant that I picked closed before we put in the order, but it was open when I went to order.
It's a crazy time too, because like it's what, like 1 maybe 1:30.
Yeah, you would think a lunch rush would be respected, but no, no respect here for lunch rushes. No respect in at least around the fucking corner, because that's what that La Feria is that I went to order from. So fuck La Feria.
Claro que no.
Claro que. Say fuck La Feria. Fuck. Actually, that's hilarious. The stream that I'm hearing from my computer is the stream that that was the audio, so I could hear it the entire time. We're good. Actually, I still need that because I need those questions.
I love that the mic's not in any of the shots.
No, this was especially made and this is produced this way, on purpose.
They don't get to know what kind of mic we're using. I love that.
No, they don't. So if anyone's hating on audio, they can suck it. Let me make sure this dude dropped the food off. Okay. We're good. This isn't the first time this has happened, and it won't be the last.
Or the third.
Or the third. It might be the fourth. Actually, considering how many interviews I did last year, it's got to be somewhere around the 20th time that this has happened. So villains. I tell you, got chips everywhere. All right, we're not gonna eat those chips.
I should have a bag of trash.
Doesn't just touch my feet. There you go.
I brought the trash bag.
More chips. Yeah, I have bags for trash. Don't worry about that.
Okay.
We got your burrito and chips here.
Thank you.
Oh, here you go. Coca-Cola. It's for you.
Thank you.
And then we got Willie's instead. This is my quesadilla.
Is it yours or mine?
Did you get a quesadilla?
I did.
Quesadilla too.
I did.
Oh my god. That's probably why I was so quick. Okay, I don't know. What'd you get on yours?
I think on the quesadilla I got
I don't want to touch it, but I don't care if you touch my food. So check that and make sure that it's not
What did you get in your quesadilla?
I got onions, I got lettuce. Did you get lettuce on yours?
I did not get lettuce.
Okay, then there we go. We got our food.
Excellent.
We're good to go. I'm happy. How you feeling?
Swell.
I appreciate you for doing this today. I appreciate you for hitting me up.
I appreciate you having me.
Yo, it's it takes a village, yo. It really does. The thing that I shared with you, I'm not gonna share here, and that is my my residency. It has to do with my residency currently. And so I'm gonna keep that between you and I. And so for now, there's a lot of other people I want to talk to about it.
Understood.
Man, it's been a while.
Yeah,
I haven't seen you, what, like 2 months?
Right before you went to Japan.
Right? So that would have been March.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like early March.
Yes, because you had a show with a bunch of other homies.
We were doing Oxygen.
Okay, then there was Oxygen, but I saw you at a show before then, but that would have been December then.
Yeah, with John Average.
Yep. Damn. It's been since December. Well, since March, but like, we only see each other ever so often.
Life of busy people.
Because we talked about this particular interview in December.
Yeah.
You were like, yo, can we do this? And I was like, hell yeah. What? Yes. Yes.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure I had the album completed, which it technically isn't. I'm still short one chorus on a song.
Really?
Yeah. Track 3, I haven't gotten my chorus in yet, but I spoke to the individual who's doing said chorus literally last night. So they said she said she should have that in to me by about Monday or so.
Okay.
So that'll be like the only update besides like updated mixes and masters to things.
Gotcha. So one of the things that I wanted to ask you, are you okay with me sharing the titles of tracks as you have them from what I saw on that playlist?
I think all the titles are updated.
They're all the same?
I think all the titles are updated.
Okay, cool. That being said, I know what we can't talk about. There's only one thing from the text messages that we can't talk about, which is fine, because it doesn't even matter anymore. But what we are here to talk about is your album, Idle Hands. And so, with that, I want to introduce my guest, Imp.
Alright.
I calls them the Uncanny Imp. They said that you can just call them Imp.
I mean, the Uncanny is just my Instagram handle.
Well, I like the full name because it encompasses. You do so many things that actually I can talk about it here. You incorporate so much like comic book, like so many comic book references and so many like different like video game references and so many geek cultural references into your music that it, to me, makes sense to just say the whole thing, and it gets a nice moniker. You know, it's a really nice moniker.
Honestly, had I thought to do that when I dropped my debut record so many years ago, that probably would have been the stage name.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to update all of my info on streaming and whatnot. Plus, I knew I wanted a mononym, so just Imp.
Yeah, you gotta hire people for that. That is something that you definitely want to hire people for.
Yeah.
So I get it. I am gonna turn this up quite a bit because I want to make sure that this audio is extra with the side of the side of sour cream.
I thought you were gonna say yams.
Nah. I actually just started eating sweet potatoes within the last excuse me, like by choice within the last 2 years.
Wow.
Yeah, I hated yams growing up, and so sweet potatoes.
For me, it depends on who makes them.
Who makes them the best to you?
My mom has a sweet potato pie recipe that like no one else can make better sweet potato pie than her, in my humble opinion.
Interesting.
So, yeah, like I cannot go and get a store-bought sweet potato pie. I'll be like, this is terrible. This is trash.
Damn, I respect it. Like, don't nobody do it like mama,
right.
grandmas, great grandmas. If you got them, like huge shout out. Mother's Day did just pass, so shout out to the moms.
Oh, I saw some foul shit on Mother's Day.
You saw some foul shit on Mother's Day.
Oh my, yeah.
What'd you see?
I was walking down to the train station, right? And so at Kensington Station, where I was at, there's this sidewalk that is like higher than the lot. So you would have to look down to look inside this one particular lot over there. And there's one car there parked. And it's just this one dude. No, this is Mother's Day. Sunday, the Lord's Day. This man is sitting in his car, windows down, just cranking it. He playing with his stick shift and the car's an automatic.
Oh, God.
On the Lord's Day. It is 11:04 in the morning. And I know it's 11:04 because I looked at my phone and it was like the bus leaves at 11:06.
So, wait. Just in the train parking lot. That must be his home, if that's what he doing. That's what he was doing. That's where he got to live.
How did you come to that conclusion?
Well, I can tell you.
I don't want to know. I don't know what conclusions he came to.
Well, I'm sure we both know what conclusions he came to.
Oh Lord.
That's a trip. All right, so we're here to do this interview. We be going off. So between me and you,
I'm down for. Look, I didn't expect
to get lost in the sauce.
I didn't expect it to just be music. I thought you were gonna like ask me about like other shit, creation process.
I told you I want to be concise with this.
For sure.
To that effect, though, I think we will end up touching on these things. This flows. This is just gonna flow. But I do want to make sure that I am being, on point with the shits. That being said, this album title, Idle Hands. Why? Why is Idle Hands the title? They say Idle Hands are the devil's playground. Some say workshop.
Yeah. It's funny because for the longest I didn't know what this album was called. And part of how I got to the conclusion of what the album's called, part of it was inspired by my good friend Cash's, rest his soul, and part of it was by you. Really? I'm so serious.
You're lying.
I'm so serious.
Why would you lie to me here?
I'm not. I'll get the explanation and you'll see exactly what I mean.
Go ahead.
So Cassius, Finney Pendergrass, rest his soul, he wouldn't show like his family a lot of his music and whatnot. And like his I think it was his father in particular would say, why are you listening to that devil music? In relation to him like listening to like Griselda and whatnot, right? And after his passing, one of the things you had said to me was, keep busy. And like, damn. Yeah, so.
I don't remember that.
I do.
Clearly.
I do. You had told me keep busy. That's one of the ways to, try to mitigate the damage that can be done to oneself when it comes to grieving. Yeah. So I was thinking, what do I call it? The working title was Tanker because I was playing Metal Gear Solid 2 and I was working on something else entirely. So this is like the tanker to the plant kind of thing. Yeah. So I was like, should I call it devil music? No, that sounds too on the nose. I can do it. And just having the ideas run in my head, it came to Idle Hands, and I was like, I could do that. I had this awesome piece of photography from shout-outs Ronnie O'Neal from Queendom. I had a photo shoot with Ronnie, and there's this shot of me with my hands above my SP, and I was like, that could work for the cover. And it is on my hands. Idle Hands. Boom. Title.
Fuck with it. I like that. I appreciate that too. I didn't. I think that's a very cool thought process. So, to your earlier point, actually, I guess what I'm gonna transition this into the first track, which one on the SoundCloud it goes essentially 0 to 9, which which is fine.
The intro was an added thing towards the end. I knew I wanted to do like the Illmatic thing of like 10 songs, like 9 songs plus an intro.
Mm-hmm.
So like that was like, it wasn't like a last minute addition, but I didn't know what I wanted to use for it until I was like listening to interviews, and I was like, this fits a lot of my brain. This just works. So yeah, that's how we got track 0, so to speak. It's track 1, but it's listed as 0 on the link that you got.
That's perfectly fine. To me, seeing it as track 0 constantly, I'm like, did they use binary? The line, from in programming, it's how you would pull an array. Mm-hmm. So you start at 0 and then it goes 1, 2 and through. Mm-hmm. There's no 1 to start an array. It starts with 0. So I just thought that was pretty cool. And I also, like I said, told you earlier, I'm doing a lot of programming studying. So I'm just sitting here like my brain's is in that realm. So that, regardless, what inspired the creation of this particular album?
So originally, I didn't think this album was going to be... I didn't know this was going to exist at first.
Okay.
I was working on a completely different album. And at some point around like last September, October, I was like, I have a few B-sides lying around. I could probably throw those together and make a little EP. And that could just be its own little thing to buy a little bit of time for while I work on the album. So songs that existed beforehand, Black Magic was already written and recorded. I think the final title is Lockjaw. Lockjaw was already written. Excuse me. Lockjaw was already written. So I was like, I just need to get the right production for it, and I can record that. It's a done deal. Star 69, I had something completely different written about it. Still the same concept of like...
Interesting.
Yeah, still the same concept of like doing a phone call or returning a phone call, but like the concept was already there. I had something completely different in like 3-verse format. And I was like, I could just get the right production for that, record it, and I would have just had something there. But after Fendi had passed away, I couldn't do anything. So he passed away on the 23rd of October, and I couldn't do anything music related until like January. Like I had tried, and I was failing miserably. Like lyrics wouldn't come to me, beats wouldn't come to me. I could do nothing.
Yeah.
So when January came about, and I was like, what can I write? The Lockjaw and Black Magic were already written, and Petulant was written.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, this kind of, I could look at this, I guess, and everything else I was writing at that time was just very moody and kind of depressed. So I just started putting things together, and I was like, this is not working out the way I thought it would. This is becoming a thing in and of itself.
Yeah.
So between January and like early mid-March was the creation of this album. It's the fastest a whole album's ever come to me.
Really?
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
While it doesn't sound easy for it to come to you, I'm of the belief that...
No, it wasn't.
In the time that you did it, the speed of it, that it all finally came to you, that part of the experience is sort of the quote-unquote easy experience. When it comes to you like that, to me, I have a lot of hope. To me, that means that there could be a lot of good if you do what you normally do. You do a really great job, I would say, of making sure people know about your shit. I would not be surprised if a lot of the homies around here that be posting their shit on Instagram do that from inspired by how you promote your music. You do. I genuinely know when your stuff is going to come out, when you're going to be doing a show, all of those things, because of how frequently you market yourself. A lot of people, I don't think, take the time to appropriately do that around here. The only other person who did consistently was our boy Cassius. He was a beast when it came to promoting his shit. You knew how much he was making, but you also knew he had beats available. Mm-hmm. So it was one of those things where between you two, y'all, to me, I'm like, honestly, yourself, obviously going to these experiences, I would say yourself, Fendi, handful of, like a few others, once I really started, doing things with GudGameTV, y'all were the reason I'm like, yo, people want to promote themselves. So if I give them this material, they'll just work with it. They're gonna do what they want to, what they want to do with it, and it just made all the sense in the world. And so I commend you for that, because that is for all the folks that say, oh, no one knows who I am, or they're bent out of shape because they feel like no one cares about what they're putting out. I think it's important to be accountable.
You don't know what you don't know.
You don't know what you don't know. And if you're just posting on Instagram and you're not utilizing other social media outlets, which you do, you utilize your Twitter, you utilize your IG, like you're hitting your core fan bases where you know they're gonna be at, which is as simple as it needs to be. And I don't think a lot of folks recognize that. Getting into things though, the titles on this album, I'm going to run through them real quick. We have an explanation in good faith before we begin. This is your intro. We have Petulant. We have the Adult Swim Bump. Black Magic. Lockjaw. Star 69. Holy shit. Follow the Music. Rhetorical Question. Good Grief. And Hammer in the Lake. Which, Hammer in the Lake, we're not going to start there, but I do want to point out, I had to, listen. I have a separate question than what I have typed up around it, but I also had to do some thinking. The story told in Hammer in the Lake, I thought was very cool. And I was very impressed, and I'm impressed with how you write things anyway. If I think back to like Mochizere, we were talking about Nightmare Flip a few moments ago today, and I'm just like, realizing the tale of what Nightmare Flip was in relation to what Mochizere is, I remember I very likely texted you about a few different songs on there, but I can't remember, but I wouldn't be surprised if I texted you about that one, or if I just kept it to myself, because I'm like, they're super impressive with how they write. I really fuck with it. Okay, but starting at the very top with our intro, an explanation in good faith before we begin. One, I appreciate that you open up the track with a very vulnerable statement. Yeah. I think we're seeing that more in what people would probably call more conscious artists' music. And I think you do a very good job of making sure people are consistently aware of where you're at in your mental state. So that to me, that's the first thing I wanted to share with you. My first question to you regarding this track is, what is the condition you have that makes it hard for you to not look down on yourself?
So the recording that you hear in that intro is from an MC, Charles Hamilton, Double XL freshman of 09, same class as B.O.B., Asher Roth, Ace Hood, Mickey Fax, Blue. Who else is in that class? Kid Cudi. That's all I can think of off the top of my head. So for him, it's bipolar and I believe also depression. For me, it's just depression. Clinical depression, major depressive syndrome, whichever way you want to word it. But I related so much to knowing that just having the state of your brain make it very hard to feel like people will have your best interests, making it hard to accept your happiness and accept compliments. It's hard for me to accept help, like in any sort of facet. Like I even remember you saying, let me know, I'll call your Uber, and I'm like, I can get myself there, and it's like, don't do that. You know how I roll. Which it's hard for me to accept kindness in that regard, because every time I guess it's like a lot of it's like probably childhood things. Sometimes in my adulthood, but mostly my childhood is like, if I accept kindness from someone, there's always like an ulterior motive that I have to deal with. Like you're gonna, like I say you, like you're me.
Well, the general you, but
yeah,
also,
the general
you
like is going to come back and bite me somehow later. And also, I don't like to take advantage of people, so like, just whichever way you want to look at it, it's just hard for me to deal with things like that. It's so like being like at my baseline, or my baseline is lower than a usual person's baseline.
Yeah.
So like, if someone's like, if not being depressed, just being or sad or whatever. If a baseline for someone else is a 5, my baseline is probably like a 4 or 3.
Okay. That's still pretty high. 5 is like 5 being the top. No.
Well, I'm saying if
or is that 5 out of 10?
Out of 10.
Okay.
Like 5 out of 10. If like 5 is neutral for people, or like a baseline for things, then my baseline is usually like maybe a 4 or a 3.
Okay, got you. To that, I want to ask you. Acknowledging this clinical depression, how do you stay motivated to create when it feels like, when you're worried about ulterior motives, it feels like people might be against you, like there's that fear there, and then like, does that feeling of depression affect how you create?
Not really. Like, maybe in a way that I couldn't put into words, but I don't really think so. I think music's my outlet, so to speak. So like, I've had songs where I talk about drinking habits. I've spoken about depression before, and just in other facets. Like, for me, I create with a mindset of this isn't for anyone else. I allow people to have it at the end of the day because I release it, but it's not for anyone else. It is for me.
Right.
So whatever song I do is basically a time capsule of that moment. This record is a time capsule for me of the past few months, basically. But yeah, it's not for anyone else. It is for me and me alone. So I could not care less about anyone has to say about, oh, you're too depressing, or hey, that song you released, I think you should probably like not do that and do something more cheerful. I don't give a fuck. It's for me.
Do you ever hear that from people? Do they suggest that you kind of switch the tone of the emotion?
Oh yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Kind of disrespectful. I ain't gonna lie.
I agree. like if I've let that eat away at me before, like releasing records. Like, oh yeah, I'm too depressing for people. I suck. Yada yada. Blah blah blah. Like, I don't give a fuck. Like no one can say anything to hurt my feelings more than what I've already told myself a million times since I was a kid.
Right.
So if my records are too depressing, guess what? You can listen to any other motherfucker on the face of the goddamn planet talking about any other thing under the goddamn sun. I don't care.
Very true.
These records are not for you. These records are for me. I just allow you to have them, and if you appreciate them, take them. And if you don't, it's fine. My feelings are not hurt by people saying they don't like my music. Like, I don't care.
I think it's important to have, I'm going to call it a wall, or that guard available. When I think about it, I'll speak to it in terms of like fighting. If you're fighting, you don't want to fight with your hands down. You're open to a lot of nonsense.
Right.
Anything can come your way. When you have your hands up and you're ready to fight the way you want to fight, it's going to be hard for people to get through your defense, and really push their own offense. And so for you, that thought process, as I think a lot of creatives really, like, I truly do believe a lot of creators should take that approach to creating what you want to create for you. If you create for you, the people who like it will organically come to and be a part of the experience.
If you like what you're creating, at least to some degree, there will be someone else with nigh near the same mindset you have who will find it and appreciate it for what it is.
Exactly. And I think, this push and this desire to be followed, and liked, in this internet sense, in the social sphere, which the value derived from it in the grand scheme of things, I can't imagine. For some, I could see it being very high. For others, and to that, I don't understand. For others, to seek that, you know, when you have this environment and you have this earth that we live on, we literally walk on every day, you're like, yo, like, why do you give a fuck what anybody else is thinking around out on here when you have people around you,
right?
You know, that you should really be paying attention to and actually caring about you, because those people may actually care about you. You know, that kind of shit I think is far more important. But that's neither here nor there. I don't want to go on a crazy rant, but at the end of because I will. At the end of the day, though, you know, I do want to know, like, even though you have this depression, what reasons do you find that you have to be optimistic?
Knowing that whatever it is I'm going through, all things are fleeting. All things are fleeting. That includes sadness. That includes joy. That includes anger. Like, nothing changes without effort. Mm-hmm. Whether it's political, free Palestine, by the way. Whether
yes.
Well, whether it's political, whether it's personal, all things are fleeting. All things in life, including life, are fleeting. If I don't make the records that I make to talk about my depression, I'm not gonna get past them.
Yeah.
Like, one of the songs I hear, you know which one it is. I think it's track 9. Mm-hmm. If I didn't write that quote unquote letter that exists within that, mm-hmm. I would be dealing with this a lot more heavily than I would be otherwise. So, yeah, like, I don't know. You just have to find the little things that give you joy. Like, I like reading comic books. Even when I'm depressed and I feel like when I'm at my worst moments and I'm like, I don't like enjoy anything. Mm-hmm. If I'm not doing the things that I know I would enjoy otherwise, my better temperaments, I'm fucking up. Like, you should continue to do the things that you would enjoy in your better temperaments, because at some point when you are in a better temperament, it's like, oh, I did that thing. Yeah, that thing I read or saw or did or whatever was fucking cool. I'm happy I did that, even though I wasn't enjoying it in the moment.
Yeah, that goes to go back to the point you made. That's exactly what I mean by staying busy. Mm-hmm. It's easy to be down and out. It's easy to be just in pain. It presently feels like the strongest experience you should be having. You know, it's that thing that will make you lay down. It's that thing that'll keep you in bed. It's that thing that'll keep you locked in your room. You know, but doing that, even as someone who stays in their residence, like, everything I do here, I work from home. I play video games here. When I stream here. All the shits. Like, I do all that here. It's easy to fall into that rut, so to speak, with how you're feeling presently. But I think it's important to remember how much control us as individuals have over our minds when we're going through the things that we're going through. Mm-hmm. And I'm happy to hear the things that make you optimistic. And the fact that you understand that these moments are fleeting, they will pass. Me personally, with how reactive I can be, it can be hard to seem like I don't see those things in other people, or that I may not understand that myself. But I also know it. Mm-hmm. I'm a very reactive person. I'm like a volcano. I call myself a force of nature, for that very reason. Yeah. So that goes to anyone. Like, regardless of what you're experiencing in your life, it will be okay. You know, you can overcome. Like M said, it does require effort. And
all things in this life worth it require effort.
Anything in this life worth it requires effort. If you care enough about yourself, I think it'll be not easy. I think it will behoove you to explore and make sure you also find out who's in your corner. Because while everything in this life does require effort, there is effort to accepting your support. Mm-hmm. You know, and while you can do some things alone, you can't do everything alone. Mm-hmm. Just keep that shit in mind. The Uncanny Imp, as I like to call them, they did this album with a number of different people. It wouldn't be possible while they've done albums themselves. The quality is that much better because of the squad that they came with. That's the anime shit for real. That's like walking around with the Power Rangers and Super Sentai shit. Like, for real. Real quick, I see you might have a message. I don't know Oh, man, fuck these promotions. Why am I doing this shit? The fuck out of here chat with your whack-ass promotions. Thank you, whoever fucking banned them or whatever. Ban these. Anyway. All right, moving on.
What's up, RC Panther?
What's up, Panther? Shout out to Panther, the GOAT, bruh. Like, seriously. Panther, I think he's modded, so shout outs to you. Track 1, Petulant.
Track 2.
Track 2, technically. I know, okay. I typed track 1.
I know what you mean.
Yeah, well, I explained this earlier.
Yeah.
Petulant, I had to look the word up because I didn't know what it meant.
Mm-hmm.
Insolent or rude in speech or behavior. Now, I read this and I wanted to make sure I typed it out because I didn't want to forget it today. I might be overthinking it. I find it impressive that in your chorus, it's so smoothly woven into the song, you know? It's almost unhearable at first, truly. Like, you gotta listen. And I'll bring up another person, and you'll know who. You know who. But it's likened to this other person. But it's almost unhearable at first, and it flows super well into the music. The thing about the music itself, it is a bit of a contradiction. It's very jazzy. So it's, you know, it sounds that way. It sounds very free. And I think, you know, it's both dissonant and yet harmonious. Much like your flow in the actual song. And I really appreciated that about that song.
Thank you.
I thought Petulant was dope. The more I listened to it, a lot. You know, I'll just dive in. Petulant, jilted, pessimistic, depressed, glass half empty. These are all words or phrases that you've used in this track. And so I wonder, do you ever feel like your negativity chains you down as a person?
Sometimes.
Okay, how so?
I mean, there's another joint on this record that you've heard. What did I call it? Rhetorical Question, which is basically about that, like, bed riding through the day, trying to bury my heart, doing a lot of drinking and smoking, as we're doing now, but for different reasons.
We're here to celebrate.
This is a joyous occasion. But, like, yeah, like, sometimes it's just hard for me to even want to get out of bed and do anything.
Yeah.
So, like, yeah, sometimes it can get me down. But I was having a conversation with Cap of GGTV. Well, not even a conversation. It was just us posting in our group chat together about doing some of our best writing while we're depressed. Like, there could be, it shouldn't be, but it can be a powerful motivator to just say, fuck it. If I'm going to feel bad, I can just put whatever I'm feeling down into concrete words, into substantive matter, and just have people accept it for what it is.
Yeah.
And also, like, I know some days on my really bad days, if I'm taking things slow anyway, slow to get out of bed, slow to get food, excuse me, I can take that same process and put it into my writing. I can be very intentional about the words that I use or what imagery I choose to employ, instead of just putting things down like nothing ever matters. No, things do matter, including the words that I use, including how I want to present this vignette of whatever is going through my mind.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it can be a powerful motivator in that regard. I'm not saying it should be, because Stevie, to take a cue from a certain episode of Atlanta, Stevie Wonder exists, and a lot of his music was built from joy.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that can be just as powerful and cathartic to create from.
Yes. I appreciate that you acknowledge the power that sadness can have in your creativity. To me, that does in a lot of ways speak to this idea of, is it chaining you down? Like, well, yes, sometimes. No, not really. You know, there's a balance in it. I think, and I know I've also done ridiculous amounts of work, sad as fuck, bent out of shape, mad as hell. I knocked some shit out, and it was dope. It'd be fucked up, because, like, it'd be so good. You know, I send it off to whoever I need to send it off to. They'd be like, oh, this is great shit. And then I look back at it later, and I'm like, damn, I was really sad. They don't know that I was real bent out of shape. Like, a few people whatever. No, the presenting myself is very like, and you know, I pretty consistently am very energetic and positive, you know, joyous individual. I live by the fruits, so I try to keep them in mind as I do what I do. But you know, there are those moments where when I'm down, shit, that's the best way to get out. You know, but again, it's fleeting and it should be. If you're holding on to it, you're not giving it the chance to go where it needs to go.
Right.
You know, and I think it's important to be able to do that. Too Petulant, though. This track has a couple different individuals that I hear, you know, in the mix. So who helped perform the music of this track?
That is all a sample.
It's all a sample.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay, I did some digging on one of them tracks. I was like, I know this sample, but this one I did not know. And I asked that question because I do know that you have homies who are in like jazz ensembles, and that you've done live shows with. So to me, I'm listening to this and I'm like, yo, this.
Yeah, that's all a sample. For legal purposes, I will not state.
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Did you produce this particular song yourself?
Yes.
Okay, excellent. Then that answers the next question I had. So you make a point in this song, and correct the lyrics if I heard it wrong. No, we're not going to talk about that. But you didn't hear what I heard.
Okay.
We're not gonna do it.
Okay.
Right? I rhymed, and I didn't mean to. Slowly wonder how I bond with the darkest parts of me.
Slowly wonder how I bonded these darkest parts of me.
Yeah. I think the question that can remain the same in that, like, how do you bond these darkest parts of you?
Oh, you know, just you know the feeling when you're feeling really down, and it's like you're just like accepting that, and what were the preceding lines? Sordid, quick connections, trauma, honor, calm, and all defeat. Just accepting those kind of things. I know sometimes when I'm having too good of a day, I'm like, oh no, something bad is about to happen.
Whew.
Things like that.
Yes. It's funny. Maybe, and I could be reaching. You keep me honest. It's like the earth. It's like out here, it's really gray right now. It's been rainy these last couple of days, but before it rains, there's this beautiful warmth, this cool breeze. It's super fucking nice. In Georgia, over the years, I've recognized, like, when I feel that, more than any other state, and I've lived in a couple now, I'm like, damn, when I feel this here, one, it ain't this nice in Georgia. It's usually hot as balls, or it's raining. So when I feel this, I know there's something else coming. You know, there's going to be a storm coming. I look at my weather app, and that's what that shit is. But I think that applies here. In so many ways, we're like the earth in that way, you know, with our emotional states. I love that kind of shit. So at the end of your song, are you at the end of your rope by the end of Petulant? Because that's the kind of vibe that I got. It's like, not like actively, like literally, but by the end of the song, is this you know, kind of being like, yo.
I think by the end of it, I think it's more exception of it.
Okay.
But it's also, it's more exception, but also kind of the, fuck it, I'll just be this. It's recognizing that I don't really care. Because, like, a lot of it's, like, complaining about people putting a lot of their subjections onto me. Like, you're so depressing, guess who deals with it? Which was that first verse or second verse? I don't remember.
I'm going to say, don't make me lie.
I've been scuba diving down the flats, but it doesn't matter. A lot of it is just accepting, this is just how I am right now. I don't really care what anyone has to say about it. I will find my way past this at some point, but for right now, this is where I'm at, and if someone has a problem with it, fucking deal.
And that's would you say that's a lot of the focus of this track?
It's a lot of the focus of the track. It's a lot of focus of the album to some degree.
Okay.
To some degree, because for the album itself, it's me trying to work my way through a lot of this. Because because this whole record is basically built out of me trying to dig myself out of the hole that I've been in since last October.
Yeah, we'll get there. That was a tough day. That was a very bizarre moment. I can't imagine what it was like for you.
I talked about it a little bit on Rhetorical Question. I got the phone call Monday night, and I literally spoke to Cassius Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
I had spoken to him every day over the past, like 6 years.
I'd literally seen him probably 3 weeks before I had gone out of town to go for like work and shit. And I'm just sitting here like, I heard Tuesday. Because as soon as I heard, you told me.
I posted it on Tuesday.
Yeah,
I tried to get out a few phone calls before I spoke about it because I was like, I can't call every human being under the goddamn sun.
Right.
But I wanted to get out a few that I knew would need to hear that just from a voice instead of just seeing it as a random post. And then after that, I was like, all right, post it here. Mute my entire account. I don't want to talk to anybody. I want to just grieve.
Yeah, and we'll get there. We'll get there. We're gonna move on to track 2, Adult Swim Bump.
Yeah.
Something about Adult Swim coming out of Atlanta at all.
It's great.
It's clearly been a major impact on the entire music community, or an entire subsect, I should say, of the music community in Atlanta. Because I do think if it was for the entire music community, we'd have a very different sound when it came to trap.
Oh yeah.
To Atlanta trap. If Adult Swim had that kind of impact,
we would have sounded like Stone's Throw and Brain Feeder all the way.
It would have. I would be interested in hearing it. I don't know who the fuck that is that you just talked about.
Stone's Throw and Brain Feeder? Stone's Throw is a label that released a lot of they did like Madlib shit. Brain Feeder is Flying Lotus's label.
I know Madlib and Flying Lotus by name. The labels, not so much.
Okay.
You a music digger, so of course you're gonna know these things. I'm a music appreciator. You know, I might not dig all the time. I'll dig sometime, you know, but I don't dig all the time. Not all the time. I did for this. And so, for the Adult Swim bump, how much of an impact have Adult Swim bumps had on you as an artist?
I mean, so as someone who grew up watching Adult Swim, one of the cool things is hearing all the in-between segments, because they would show all the letters and all the little short form music that they would play, because there was Flying Lotus, there's
Doom, you had Madlib be playing on there,
I found
Danger Mouse.
Yeah, I wouldn't know about the Juju experiment if not for Adult Swim. I wish they were still doing Blood Feast, because Blood Feast was fucking great. I got to see all the local cats just appear on their live stream at night and play. Adult Swim is both for music. They have this. God, I could go so in depth. They did the Swim singles series. The whole reason why Run the Jewels even exists today is because of Jason DeMarco putting Mike and LP in the same room together.
I'm telling you.
Adult Swim, both from an animation standpoint and from a music standpoint, is so pivotal to what we know today as what can be found as American music, Black Southern American music, all these things combined. It's so idiomatic of things that I just enjoy hearing and seeing.
It also being, to your point about the animation, it was the after hours of Toonami, so to speak, too. Mm-hmm. So you're still getting this anime, but you're also getting these wild, weird, American, very clearly European thought out shows. And it was a programming block that, I like to sleep a little bit. I did even more as a kid than I do now. It was fundamental to me connecting with my brother, even we watched that shit together. If I woke up in the middle of the night, he had it on. He was up just tuned in. Or if I happened to catch, Inuyasha or whatever, that's how I stayed in the anime. Is because of that. Cowboy Bebop, all the good shit. Adult Swim is a beautiful experience. But why name the title of this song that?
What does the beat sound like?
It sounds like an Adult Swim.
There you go.
I knew the answer. I didn't want to. There's this. Okay, so I'll tell you what. For these questions, I was like, I don't want to be super obvious, because I hear I've heard interviews. I'm like, interviews are gonna give you the very obvious questions for fans to listen to, but it's just folks are gonna hear this album, and I want them to, if they, get a chance to see anything from this interview, I want them to consider your responses to these kinds of questions. Not just like the obvious shit. There are going to be some very clearly obvious questions I'm going to ask you, but a lot of them are really off the cuff. But I feel like y'all expect that from me now. After all this time talking to one another. So, like, why are there 2 other people on this song? Who are they? And like, I need you to shout them out. I think I know who one person is, but I don't want to be wrong.
I want to give a shout out to Rogue Dynamo and Victor Mariachi for joining me on this song. The version you have does not yet have the chorus to it. Let's bleep this out in post if this person doesn't get the chorus into me before I'm like, I have to submit this to distributors. The chorus will be done by Lithium Pineapple.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That is so cool. So you'll have a group of 4, but you'll have 3 other people. That's so cool. Lithium Pineapple makes some sick fucking music.
Right?
They make some sick fucking music, yo. Like, I heard her do a set at Controllerize like a couple months ago.
I know exactly which one you're talking about.
Yep.
The last Auxilla we had.
I was sitting in that bitch like, just all kinds of dancing and excited, just living it up, getting it in, like, super. That's awesome to hear.
When we're done on stream, I'll show you the voice memo of the chorus.
Ooh, okay, I'm excited to hear that. That's the thing. That's the other thing too. Y'all didn't get to listen to this. I got to listen to this for some weeks before before we got here. So I love that behind the scenes shit. I'm honored. It's deeply an honor that you would even consider this, hitting me up to do this again. That being said, though, Rogue Dynamo, phenomenal. Victor Mariachi, I think he's dope. Victor's flow and style, I am personally still adjusting to, and I think I need to listen to more of his music.
If you listen to like a lot of like Southwest hip hop, like Southern California and like Arizona type shit, it'll click. It does,
and to that effect, it does. And I think part of the issue is I don't listen to enough of it, and so it's when I listen to like California, we're gonna be talking like, SoCal, but like upper SoCal, like where Vince Staples and niggas moving at Compton type shit, or a lot of people I listen to from NorCal. A lot of Southern, obviously East Coast, because I love hip hop as a culture, so you can't not listen to East Coast hip hop if you love hip hop. It's just one of those things, or at least older East Coast hip hop. Anyway, but I still do appreciate his verses. He's had some sick fucking verses on tracks. You get some sane shit that had me like, God damn. But I do think like it's his flow is something I still need to adjust to and want to. So I should really be looking more into him. So this song, lots of death. Lots of death in this track. I can't ask you that. I can ask you this question. I'm going to tell you this right now. Whoever's watching this stream, whoever watches this record, like I said, I ask these questions. Some of them are out of humor. This one is humorous. It's a real question. And no, I do not promote or, condone.
That's the same thing.
Suicide. Okay, I guess shit.
Condone or condemn?
I don't condemn. Well, I do condemn it, but I don't condone suicidal ideation. We are about to have a conversation about suicidal ideation, where I'm going to share mine, and then I'm going to ask Imp to share theirs. So, I don't have to ask this, but now I want to because it's here. A lot of death in this song. If you could kill yourself in any way,
okay, so how would you kill yourself? I got a couple of answers.
Real quick.
I got a couple of answers.
Hopping off a building.
No.
That's me. That's just me personally.
By all means, for me, no. One of the ways I've thought about this a few times. One of the ways I want to go, like, let's say I'm like on like a shuttle, right? Mm-hmm. I have a snowboard. I want to get off at low orbit, and I want to do a bunch of tricks as I burn up upon re-entry into the Earth's atmosphere.
That's beautiful.
I know.
You'd be like a star.
I
literally.
I like that would be so fucking sick.
If people need telescopes to see that, you'd have to let the world know. This is gonna be like a stunt that you do.
Shoot, give me a camera with a live stream going on the whole time.
Just hit me up, man. I got you. We'll figure it out.
Set the GoPro up to my forehead.
Exactly. We'll put a fucking. We'll connect to SpaceX satellites and shit. It'll be a whole vibe. But I'm glad we approached this way, and I'm glad I prefaced this. I put this question in here last night and I laughed and I was like, I shouldn't ask this question. And I thought this morning, I was like, I should take this question out. I did not do that. There was work to be done. William Devine. I do not know who that was before I looked him up. Do you have a favorite song of his?
No. My reason for putting that in is because I'm low-key upset with myself for not changing the car model in the song.
Okay.
Because I said El Camino instead of a Cadillac.
Okay.
But I kept thinking about his song, You Won't Get What You Want. Diamond in the Back, Sun Rooftop, which a lot of people think is Curtis Mayfield.
Interesting.
Yeah, like a lot of people, for whatever reason, think it's a song called Diamond in the Back by Curtis Mayfield, which does not exist. It is literally You Won't Get What You Want by William Devine. So part of me was like playing that to like one, set the scene of what's going on in the thing, you know, world building, stage building and whatnot.
Yeah. And
also because I reference things that are like sort of allusions to the song. Like there's the bullet with smelted from the wedding ring, diamond in the back.
Just layers. We'll get there. There's another song and a whole other conversation we're about to have around.
Yeah, it's like a there could be a second joke or a second pun if you look for it.
Yes, and you truly do have to hear it. Like, I've been drinking, so excuse me if my memory is funky. This is where my memory gets funky. My focus won't be, but my memory will be. That being said, you know, I love those kinds of layers when artists do that. It's weird, and so I was looking at TikTok as you know a millennial would at 2 a.m. like 1 a.m. you know on a Tuesday night, and so this one I saw, the gentleman makes a point about looking at hip hop the way you look at art, and like the difference between like the Impressionist movement. Or modern rap being like the Impressionist movement, and fucking more classical hip hop, 90s hip hop. You could argue early 2000s hip hop being more like this more classical art style, where it's like very
realism?
Clean, more realism.
Realism.
Yeah. I don't know what to think about that.
I think there's an argument that could be made for it, but I don't necessarily think that's entirely. I don't think it's 1-to-1. Then again, I'm also thinking about it from like a collegiate standpoint of like where they'll say like this movement ended and this one began, and when in reality like people can make whatever the fuck they want. Literally. And as soon as another movement starts, that doesn't necessarily mean that people don't make that style of art anymore after it ends, or the previous one met its end, quote unquote, that people weren't still doing that. I think there's an argument that can be made if we're talking about it from like who's the most popular acts right now who are named BBL Drizzy.
Sexy Red, Ice Spice.
Sexy Red, Ice Spice. Yeah. Yeah.
For guys, I'd have the Skilla Baby.
Who?
Skilla Baby? He's a Detroit rapper.
Never heard of him.
Okay, he's pretty dope.
I don't mean to say that out of disrespect.
No, it's not a disrespect. I get it. I feel you. Like, some won't listen to what you fucking listen to. I would go as far as Future. Quintessential to the game right now. You don't... Modern rap...
I like Future.
Yeah, modern rap doesn't happen, I think, or in so many ways. What we're hearing now doesn't happen in part without Future. In part without... You know, you'll back 3 6 Mafia, and even before them, I think there are others who helped inspire this. It's like obviously 2 Chainz.
8 Ball MJG. I have to say that because I feel like a lot of people do not give them their props as Southern MCs.
Really, I do not know who they are.
Well, I'll put you on game after we're done on stream.
Okay.
But like, yeah, 8-Ball and MJG deserve a lot of credit for the direction of Southern hip hop in general. If we didn't have 8-Ball MJG, we wouldn't have acts like Big Crit.
And really,
So serious.
I like Big Crit.
Big Crit's dope.
Big Crit's fucking dope. He is. Okay, that's sweet. So moving on. I'm glad we talked about that. The dude made the point around it, surrounding like Chief Keef in like Chicago hip hop and like how his style was more of like an impressionist style, and it inspired all these other abstract kind of like looser mumble rap styles of hip hop. And it's just, I'm like, you gonna get some kind of shit like that. You could argue gangster rap for a minute was that transition where a lot of people were like, this is dog shit. Be like, what are we talking about? Like, you know, but then it's like you can't help but vibe with it because, you know, niggas like Dre are
I mean, if you want to look at impressionism from the sense of like it not being like a one-to-one realistic kind of depiction of what's going on, but more so like the I'm trying my best to explain this without using the word impressionist.
It's okay. Go ahead.
Like just giving the idea of what something is, because all art to a degree is an abstraction of something.
Mm-hmm.
I would say if we wanted to get into things like that, I wouldn't name these artists as impressionists. If you wanted to say something like maybe brutalism, because it's like a very much it's very much like it showcases what things are in like a very what's the word I'm looking for?
The word I'm thinking is simple. Because when I think about brutalism, I think very concrete, very simple.
No, what is the word? What this is the dumbest question I've ever had to ask in my life. What kind of story was hyperbolic? That's what I'm trying to think of.
I would not have guessed that word. So
it's very much a hyperbolic representation of what things are.
Okay.
And it doesn't always is not going to be a thing that measures up to the real world one-to-one. If I wanted to think about things that are like just alluding to the thing instead of just trying to depict a one-to-one representation, I'd say acts like A$AP Rock, Lupe Fiasco, Open Mike Eagle, maybe even like Billy Woods.
Interesting.
Yeah, and to a degree, I feel like he has his foot in probably both worlds in this metaphor I'm thinking of, but like Bodie James.
Okay. Yeah, I think he does. I think he definitely does have his foot in both of those worlds. In that his content is more modern and his style fits more of that impressionist like kind of approach.
Yeah, like if you were listening to Bodie James just casually, you'll never know when he's making a punchline. Right. Because he doesn't do a vocal inflection to like let you know, haha, I'm doing a joke here. Yeah. It's so middle of the road flow. That's not an insult to his flow. It's just he doesn't do an inflection to make you realize we're coming up on a joke. Right. You have to literally sit down and listen, and then you'll be like, oh, there's a joke in there. Haha. He's stupid funny.
He's dope. I've listened to him a couple of years ago when Cassius and Q, funny enough, we did their interview last year, the one that was not recorded. That we never got to do again.
I'm sorry.
This is life, yo. Cassius told me about it. And so I gave him a listen some years ago. It's been since that time that I've not listened to him. Moving on. Single of the album. Black Magic. Okay, this song I said is nutty as fuck. There are certain times where I wrote notes in here because I'm like, I want to make sure that they know what I was thinking when I was listening to this shit. I think this song is nutty as fuck, and I encourage anyone who I encourage anyone who to listen close and look up any name you don't know, any reference you don't know. Just do some research into the song. Do not fall into black magic. Trust me, do not do it. The shit's dangerous. I actually, while I was in Japan, strangely enough, I know what it was. It was seeing the temples, the Buddhist temples. Mm-hmm. They all have antennas at the top of them. Mm-hmm. Very interesting. Me and Supam, we had talked some months ago. Shout outs to Super. That's big homie right there. We had talked some months ago, and we talked frequently about those particular buildings and some other things that kind of fall into the world of where black magic lives. And so, the focus of this song for you, what is the focus of this song?
The focus?
Yes.
It is bravado. It is sort of like, you know how sometimes people say, if you're ever fighting a bear, this is somehow very fitting for what's going on in memes right now on the internet. I wrote this song in like 2018, 2019.
Really?
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, so it's sort of like putting on a brave face when things are difficult.
Yeah.
So that's what this song is kind of like for me. On the third verse, I say, I could have got my cat peeled last night like cup noodles. I wrote that after a very peculiar day. This is back in my days where I was still getting high.
Mm-hmm.
I was high as fuck at home. It is the day before I start my last semester of college.
Wow.
Police! Fuck. There's nothing I can do about this because either I answer this door, they break my shit in and find me and wonder why the fuck I'm just laying down, right? Go up to the door, open the door, pistol pointing at my chest by this cop. I have no idea what's going on. I'm stoned as fuck. I'm half naked. I got my bonnet on and shit. Like, hands immediately go, what's happening?
Mm-hmm.
And apparently someone's daughter got shot somewhere else in my apartment complex.
Oh, wow.
But they went to the wrong address and found me. So as soon as he finds out he's at the wrong place, he's like, oh. Holsters his gun, saunters down the stairs, says nothing else to me.
Thank God. Oh, my Lord.
I close the door. I walk back to my bedroom, grab my computer, and I'm like, I was on Discord with my friends. Y'all won't believe what just happened to me. And yeah, that's where that line came from. Starting the third verse. The whole thing is putting on bravado in the face of something that honestly is kind of terrifying.
That you have to do that sometimes. Like, generally, you have to do that. I think there's a place for showing emotion and letting it flow, letting it fleet, and covering that emotion with, we call it bravado, but I think in these situations, we also can consider that courage. Like, it's very courageous and very brave, so to speak, to which bravado is derived from that. So, I guess there's that. Mm-hmm. But you got to, because if you don't and you fucking fold, that could have been your ass.
Right.
Straight up. So, thank God, bro. Yo, I'm glad. Like, okay. You smell magic with a K in the title. With its, do you know what Kabbalah is?
I've heard.
That's Thelema, which is derived from Kabbalah, which was practiced by a dude named Aleister Crowley.
I've read his book.
Yeah. You've read one of his books?
The one that you're supposed to burn at the end?
Do
what thou wilt and all that shit. Yeah, I'm familiar.
Oh, shit.
I'm familiar.
Oh, wow. Oh, okay. I did not know that. I was going to ask you if you knew what it was, and you said you're familiar. So, there you go. I did some wiki research, so to speak, on these concepts and this person and various other things, because I noticed a connection between them and a lot of an old Hebrew magic. That's where a lot of this comes from. It's like old Hebrew magic. And a lot of that, all the offshoots of that, I believe, personally, this is getting kind of conspiracy, kind of off topic, but is very heavy in Buddhism and like Taoism. So I think there's some deviations there. It's an interesting concept, but that's a conversation for another day. So staying on the song. I've been on my grind like Lacey Baker, now Leo Baker.
Oh, what?
Yes, Lacey Baker has had their name changed.
What?
Yes.
Fuck! I feel like trash.
Don't feel like trash. You don't know what you don't know.
When was this?
So this was some years ago.
I am terrible. Oh my fucking god.
It's okay. Look, you don't know what you don't know. We just said this earlier today. So
It is too late for me to change this.
yo, it's life.
Ah.
Don't stress. Don't stress. Seriously.
On
On deck without truck. Grind mic.
grip.
Grip mic. Like grip tape. I typed that word wrong. There's supposed to be a P there. You're right. Grip mic like grip tape. No comply to your rubbish. Pipe up or pop shove it. Did you ever skate in your life, Imp, to be talking with all this skate terminology? Did you ever actually skate? Are you about the culture?
You know, if you don't look at it as skate tricks and you look at it for what it could mean in layman's terms, if I told someone to pipe up or shove it, I'm still telling someone to shut the fuck up.
You are. You really are. You know, no complying to your rubbish.
So if
I'm not
you,
trying to hear that shit.
So you were literally looking. So if you just so happen to know that it's also a skate trick, you can find a way to weave in skate metaphors into just layman's terms of things.
Yeah, that's very true. And that's the thing about this that I appreciated about the lyrics and why I typed each of them out, how I heard them, versus how they were actually spoken in some cases, which has happened a lot, I'm confident. But I appreciate that about this particular song and the fact that, but just truly though, did you ever skate growing up?
I have a skateboard now that I don't use because I'm trash. I had one when I was a kid, but I am nowhere near proficient enough to even claim being a skater.
I respect it. I've always been a rider. When it comes to skating, I'm sure you've seen me walking around at some point some years ago with a board. I do it less now because I've taken some hard L's on these streets in Atlanta. This shit is unforgiving. But also, I did used to ride around and skate a bit as a kid. So when I heard these, I was like, I've been watching Olympic skateboarding and SLS and all this shit. That street league shit, like it's a vibe. So I wanted to ask you about that, and this actually goes into your third verse where you talked about cup of noodles, and I wanted to ask you, what is the significance of cup noodles in your life? That you put some bars around it in the song.
Part of it is just the pun. I could get my cat peeled last night like cup noodles.
Very impressive.
And still alive with top ramen kind of thing. But also like ramen's delicious.
So good.
Like, dude, like make a soft-boiled egg, add in some pork bellies, some instant noodles, and some veggies and shit. You got a whole fucking meal.
You do.
Ramen is delicious. Ramen is the poor American's delicacy.
Which is crazy because it's just a traditional Japanese delicacy.
I mean, ramen, etymologically speaking, comes from the Chinese lo mein.
Yeah.
And what does lo mein and ramen mean in English? Noodles.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
And it's just
noodles.
Just delicious noodles. Some of the best. There's a beautiful thing about leaving the country and getting to go. Is trying udon, soba noodles, and then udon, and then just general ramen. The shit's insane out there. It's a beautiful thing. It is really, really good. And again, same as the skateboarding. I think the use of that particular item, this food, was deeply impressive. I was like, motherfucker out here talking about cup noodles and shit. It's like pulling niggas cat backs. Like, this shit was awesome. I really, really appreciated it. Okay, so I want to say it was in your chorus, or at least at the beginning of each of your verses. Excuse me.
Running laps.
What is the significance? Yes. What is the significance of running laps to you in this song?
See, that's a question for me. Like 5-6 years ago.
Interesting. Okay.
This song is old.
Yeah.
Like written wise, the production on here is production that I got like last September from Free Spody.
Okay. Shout out to Spody.
But like I used to do a variation of this song at my live shows over a John Wayne beat. The beat in particular was produced by Scoop DeVille, same person who produced the recipe for Kendrick Lamar and Dr. Dre.
Oh, wow.
The song in particular was called black magic.
Interesting.
So that's how I started doing this song just in public and whatnot. What does it mean? If I had to recall, I'm not entirely sure. I think it was like part of the bravado, like, go ahead and tell all your peoples they will get fucked up if they don't leave. I think that's what it is. Okay. Again, this is.
So you bought that life.
I'm so many years removed from when I wrote this.
Would you call yourself a fighter?
I can neither confirm or deny.
Well, I mean, just in general, would you call yourself a fighter?
I can neither confirm or deny.
Have you thrown hands?
I can neither confirm or deny.
Oh, so you ain't here to throw hands. Okay, bet. Okay, word up.
I'm not gonna fight you.
You don't have to fight me. I was just wondering. You know.
I've been in my fair share of fights.
Good.
But I think everyone should know how to defend themselves in any form of combat.
I agree.
But without a lawyer, I would never tell you anything more than what I just said.
That's fair. I have thrown hands.
I know.
Not like actively, but like as a kid. I was actually just talking to one of my coaches about this. In that, like, I think a lot of people, they come into martial arts and they're you want to get this good workout, but then they also want to like be, they want to spar. They want to get in the mix for real. Test their mettle kind of shit. And I think that's the wrong way to approach it. It's one thing if you're learning, I think it's another thing if you are trying to find a place of peace. I think there's peace in this art and in fighting in general. But I told him, like, a lot of folks coming in this bitch did not grow up fighting. They didn't grow up fighting in bathrooms or on streets or outside of schools or any kind of shit like that. And so when they come in here, they flinching and they scared, they uncomfortable, and it's very bizarre.
I went to DeKalb County Public Schools. You have to know how to fight.
Really?
Yeah.
It's deep like that.
Yeah.
How frequently would you say there were fights for you growing up?
Like every other fucking day.
Every other day?
Dog, when I was if anyone went to Avondale High School during the fall 2010, spring 2011 semester, it was the last time they were open.
Really?
There was definitely a day where I saw a bunch of teachers fighting students. I'm not even lying.
Throwing hands with the kids?
I'm not even flexing. Like, anyone who went to Avondale High School during that time, I'm certain y'all know what day I'm talking about.
Damn.
So if you ever run into anyone who went to my old high school of Avondale, they might be able to tell you about that day. Maybe not. I don't know.
That's pretty funny. I like that. I think so. I grew up going to my church in Michigan had a school. They do now. It's called Heirs of the Promise, and it was called that when I was younger. Kind of private-ish school, but whole other thing. The point is, though, our teachers were our aunties and shit that we went to church with, so our moms and parents all knew each other, so we was all getting our ass whooped. I think teachers need to whoop more ass. I really do. I genuinely believe teachers need to be allowed not to carry guns. They don't need guns. They need belts, okay? And I bet a lot of the issues that we would see in schools from any kid, I don't care what nation you from, they would be quickly alleviated by the sound of whoosh, not like a whip, but you know that sound. When the belt gets hit on the hand or gets fucking pulled out.
I do not condone the beating of children.
I do. I'm also joking. Sort of. Kind of,
I was not joking. I do not condone the beating of children.
Without reason, I don't condone the beating of children. Don't beat kids unless you have a reason to whoop their ass. But we live in a different time, man. It was the early 2000s. It was a beautiful time. And there's a level of discipline, I think, is the point that ultimately ends up like being missed, which is why, teachers throwing hands with students at Avondale High School, or formerly known as Avondale High School, is very hilarious to me because
it was a crazy fucking.
Because I'm sure that changed them kids' lives. They was like, oh shit, they gonna throw back. Yes, we will throw back.
It was a crazy fucking day.
That's hilarious to think about. I wish I could have seen it. So, you say in the song Black Magic, the environment against us is what created us. I did not finish this question, but I do remember what I was going to ask you. Do you think we have to become products of our environment?
I think we all already are.
Really?
Think about it like this.
Okay.
What are you without your lived experiences?
True. I think, okay, and I hear you there. I do wonder, though, you know, some people use those experiences to remove accountability from their actions.
That was my next point.
Mm-hmm.
I think what route you take is dependent upon the person, but to say that you are unaffected by how you grew up or where you live is a fallacy.
Okay.
No, you can choose whatever decision you want to make after that. Like right now, I could be outside, gang banging, doing everything I want to do. Insert the gang signs we're throwing under the table right now that we can't see on camera.
Insert the gang signs. I'm trying to act like I'm throwing behind the camera that you can't see right now.
That's hilarious. That's hilarious. But no, like we're all a product of our environment. It's just the decision. It's just the decision. Or not even just the decision, but like the resources available that will allow you to take different routes in life.
That's a really important point.
Example, let's say you're in school and there's this huge loner white kid, right?
Huge, like a fat kid?
No, just like well known.
Yeah.
Just like well known for being a loner.
Mm-hmm.
They could very much easily say, they could very much be picked up like, oh, I see you're alone, I can offer you community, people who feel the exact same way you do. Suddenly that kid's a Klansman or a Nazi. Or alternatively, they could be in their chess club or their anime club. Resources available, who's around you, yada yada, blah blah blah.
For you, what were those resources?
To not become a Klansman, I'm black.
Well, mostly. I know that's an important one.
My reasons for what? Not like
for you growing up, what were your resources for, like, that? Because I would, knowing a little bit about your past from what you've told me in past interviews, and from what I remember right now, immediately, you could have gone a very different route than a lot of other people have, in the name of making money, in the name of defending themselves, in the name of, you know, anything to provide any amount of comfort to them. What were the resources in your life that kept you on the path that you are now, where you're expressing yourself as a creative, as a rapper, and you're also someone who is very deep and knowledgeable about certain things, not just in geek culture, but in just your general knowledge base is very wide. You know, you're a very intelligent individual. And
not enough to know that Leo Baker changed his fucking name.
Now who?
Leo Baker. Not enough to know he changed his fucking name.
Well, you're not a skater. So this, and I wasn't before I looked up the name. I was like, the name sounds familiar. I did have to do some typing myself. And, you know, but what were those resources for you?
I like the internet a lot. I'm condoning the internet, which I'm not. The internet is foul and disgusting.
You're a terrible place.
I mean, I knew I was a nerd and that I liked nerdy things. I knew based on I knew I didn't like to hurt people. Can I hurt people? Yeah, absolutely. Whether physically or emotionally, yeah. Mm-hmm. But it's not a thing I like to do. I like to think that people who are bad are capable of change. Not all the time. There are definitely foul people historically who should be. I'm trying to think of this in a way that is politically correct. So when this is shared to social media, I don't get in trouble.
I guess you are going to be picking your. I'll cut the question sections and let you clip from them.
I'm sure. I'm picking and choosing my battles. I think people have opportunities to change and be good people. I think there's means for people to be utterly shitty, and when they show you who they are, you should believe that they are utterly shitty or decent human beings, depending on what you see from them and how they treat others. Mm-hmm. For me, my things that kept me from wanting to just go out and be the most foul individual is the fact that, one, I was raised by my mom and I got to see a lot of my aunt, great people, right? well, for me, I got to talk to people online. The avenue of the internet is great for finding like-minded individuals.
Yes, it is.
So like,
shout out to RuneScape.
Right. So like, I would be online a lot, and I would just talk to people, and I would see a lot of things, like some people being foul and disgusting proto-Nazis. And some people were like, yeah, that's terrible. I picked up this comic book the other day that was pretty cool. And yeah, I also don't like Nazis and whatnot. I read a lot of history books just to see how we got from point A to point B, point B to point C, or point A, point 1, point A, point 2, point A, point 3, etc. to point B.
Mm-hmm.
So you could look at things like Black Panther Party and how they started free lunch programs.
Mm-hmm.
We could look at the Sandinistas and all the work that they did in South America as far as like trying to get rid of corrupt regimes and shit.
Yeah.
All these kind of things kind of influence who I am, whether it's from historical basis or if it's from fictional basis in comics where they have their quote-unquote political agenda, as the right wing would put it.
Yeah.
Or just people that I've met and seeing how they lived their lives and how they adapted to the circumstances they were in, and trying to apply the things that I've learned to the things that I had to go through growing up. I don't know if this answers your question.
It does. It does.
Sweet.
And I like the idea of... I appreciate a lot of the resources that you spoke to. Because to me, all-encompassing, you found a home, not online in so many ways, and you were able to connect with people, but you also took the time to do research and learn more yourself. And I think that is something that more people should do nowadays on social media, because social media is what it is, and you can hear so much bullshit, and you can just read the headline or read the tweet or see the Instagram post or whatever and think what you want. It's easy to just say, this is what it is.
The details are between the lines.
The details are always between the lines, and it's super important to be able to sit and take the time to learn and research yourself. I think that happens with books. It's the same shit. It goes as far as the Bible. Look up some shit in it. And outside of just its Greek translation, find out the history, you know? Look deeper. There's details between all the shit. There's something that can be learned and developed and grown from these kinds of experiences, and I appreciate that you took the time to use the internet how I personally believe someone should versus how a lot of people do. We look at it on our phones, we're getting caught up in the little things of, you see, example, I look at a lot of like health shit. Okay, I could look at TikTok and hear through hearsay oh, this works and this is why XYZ shit. But why would I do that when I could also be learning that by myself? Taking the time to see, does this actually do what it says? Open up a Brave browser. Open up something outside of Google. DuckDuckGo. Use a search.
The best way.
Use a search engine to learn outside of what you're used to.
If you're on Google, use Google Scholar.
Yes. Oh my God, Google Scholar.
And if something's behind a paywall, there are ways around it. Go on Reddit.
Always.
You'll find out.
Yes, you will. Yes, you will. Don't look. Be careful with Reddit, man. Reddit is becoming a very different place than what it used to be.
I don't look at. If I'm like on the SP404 subreddit,
yeah,
I'll use that for like figuring out what's going on with my gear or how to do stuff.
Yeah,
but if I'm looking for like historical things or like scholarly articles, I'm looking at r/piracy because there are ways to get past paywalls because information should be free in my humble opinion.
It's a weird world that we're moving into with information not being free anymore.
Oh, dude, like Fahrenheit 4051, Ray Bradbury is basically the direction the internet's going.
Yes, it is. Yes.
Yeah.
Buy your books now. Buy gold, buy books. It's not a conspiracy. You can see the shit happening immediately.
You can like, to put this in reference for what I think something everyone who would listen to this could probably relate to. Let's look at video games. A lot of them are digital only, and it's not even pay to own anymore. It's like pay to own it until it's like, oh, we lost our subscription to use this, or we just don't want you to have it anymore, and they take it down. Same with Netflix or Disney Plus or whatever. No, own your shit.
Own it. Seriously, it's being an employee of the industry, and with that example, I was very leery of the idea of a license entering this space. You know, when you have a license, you don't actually own anything. You're literally
You're paying for access to it until they decide you can't have it anymore.
Look at how many games have been taken down that you had a license to and put money into, and now where does that money gone? To the fucking fire.
Look at I just saw something. Look at Adobe.
Seriously.
Like they got. I saw a thing recently where it was like, yeah, all your old copies of Adobe before they did cloud service shit, they were like, yeah, you can get sued for even using it. Why? I own it. I have a CD that I installed it from. Why the fuck can I not use the thing I paid for so long ago?
It's weird how the system's being created.
Piracy saves shit. There are tons of historical plays and movies and shit that we would not have, that we wouldn't even know about today if not for the fact that pirates were around. We can look at Shakespearean era plays. There are plays that we only have documented because someone went to that play and was sitting there and writing down all the lines and descriptions of the set and shit. Beowulf, we don't even know who the original author of Beowulf was. Why do we have it? Because someone took the time to write it down. There's oral traditions in a lot of cultures.
Yes.
Right? The only reason why we still have it is because either A, someone continued to talk about it over the course of generations, or B, someone wrote it down so that we wouldn't lose it.
Speak. That's big facts. Continuing on through the album, we're still on track 3 or 4, really. So going into track 5, this was a cool one. The note that I put here is I'm always a fan of your superhero references.
It's
this
Lockjaw.
is Lockjaw.
Yeah.
Lockjaw, and this is also where I said we talk about lyrics and lyrical content and how you hear songs and how you should truly listen. And I don't mean that just for artists like yourself or the artists that we're going to make reference to and speak about, but I mean for any artist, from mumble rappers to country singers to fucking pop stars. Listen and look up what the fuck they're talking about. Sure, the music sounds good. It's supposed to. It's supposed to be melodic. Melodies can lull you. You're supposed to be lulled. Don't just be lulled. Think deeper. Be
intentional about the media that you consume, because the media you consume is the same as your diet.
You become that thing. You start to think in that way. You seek that behavior. It's deeply important that you do exactly what him and myself are talking about. Always a fan of your superhero references here with Lockjaw. And, you know, so one of the first question I have, because you made a reference to this in your track, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, how often have you heard from your father? And has it been more recently than it has been in the past?
The last time he tried to reach out to me, I want to say is, I think it was around like maybe last September.
Really?
Wherein he found my imp email, and I was like, how the fuck?
That's strange.
Yeah. So my immediate reaction is block. I'm gonna go settle this panic attack that I know is about to happen, and honestly wasn't that bad. I think I made a lot of progress over the years. Lockjaw was originally written around the same time as Black Magic.
Really?
Like 4 or 5 years ago.
Oh, so that's interesting. Running that back real quick. Why? Because you made mention to this. It was before we started recording and before we started the stream, I think. But then also during it, those two songs. Why are they in this album? Why are they in this more modern?
They were originally intended for when I thought what became Idle Hands was going to just be an EP. So originally these were songs that I had written and would perform and or record to industry tracks. So Black Magic was written to John Wayne's Black Magic, produced by Scoop DeVille. Lockjaw was originally written to Cat Food by A$AP Rock, produced by Blockhead. I ain't joking.
Okay, we'll get into it. Okay, the next question. Cat Food by A$AP Rock is a very, I think, important reference in this song, just in how you perform the song. I think it's great. One, for people who don't know, and why I brought up superhero references as well, Lockjaw is the dog of the Inhuman family. Lockjaw has the power of teleportation. It gets the Inhumans and a lot of other members of the Inhuman people where they need to go in certain a lot of dire situations. He's also been super helpful to the Marvel team as well. He is a giant dog. So there's that. Cat food. This is before Ace gets Kirby, I want to say.
Yeah, it's around the same time as Impossible Kid.
So yeah, it's like it's around then, and it's it's interesting because I love how Ace does this with his music and how he brings in his life. And so here, I just thought it was very interesting that you took that song and made a really cool reference to it. If you haven't heard Cat Food, you should listen to it. So I know you're a fan of Ace, and I'm a fan of Ace. So why is Ace Rock's music so important to you?
Besides being a word nerd,
yes.
I read the dictionary for fun. I think part of it is because he's a word nerd, because I'm a big fan of words. I think another part of it is we've heard Labor Days and we know my politics. 9 to 5ers anthem is very important for anyone working in the American populace. No, I don't think anyone should have to dedicate their lives to ostensibly making someone else's living, so to speak. Yeah. There's no point besides of what society would tell us that we have to dedicate our lives to making someone else's dollar.
Yes. I think when it comes to thinking about CEOs in that regard, I agree. I think there's...
That's what I mean.
Yes, and then I distinguish that because I also think there's something to community,
I agree.
If you're doing it for a community, it's different. There's a sense of...
These are our neighbors. These are our friends.
Exactly. Validation, familiarity, accomplishment that really you can derive from approaching it with that perspective. And I think it's important to to have that outlook. So to that, I love Ace. I do.
Me too.
He's I'm gonna make a clip of this moment and I'm gonna put it on Twitter and tag him in it. On my personal Twitter.
I'm gonna be so embarrassed if you see him.
I hope
one of the greats.
We need the greats to see the shits. I hope.
He's great. I'm a huge Ace nerd.
I think to me, the thing about him is that I find so impressive is that personally, him being a word nerd in so many ways in itself, and him just how he tells stories and his execution in his music. And the joy and peace that he finds, and I think it's interesting when I think about the joy and peace that he finds in not being, a top 40 or a mainstream artist.
Dog, he did not tour for his last album.
No.
That he just dropped. Integrated Tech Solution.
It's a great fucking album.
Did you see the video that Lupe Fiasco did?
No.
Lupe has a video where he talks on Instagram Live for
I did.
Minutes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I did.
Yeah.
I saw that.
And those are two of my faves.
Yes.
He put into words why I think Ace is so important as a lyricist.
Yes.
Because he'll find the most convoluted way just to say, I like my cat, or as a kid I hated eating vegetables, or ZZ Top. Having your passions are important, and if anyone has a problem with it, fuck you. Let people have their passions because they find freedom in it.
Right.
Lucy did everything she wanted to until she died.
Oh my gosh. 1, 2, 3. That's just... Anyway, we're not gonna get into it.
It would be a big flash flood if we did.
It would be a huge flash flood if we did. You could dream a little dream or you could live a little dream. I'd rather live it. Because dreamers always chase but never get it. Don't forget that shit. Listen Anyway, listen to A$AP Rock.
All things through hard effort.
All things through.
Full circle.
Full circle. 100%. You gotta. Anyway. Lockjaw. You make a reference to Black Bolt of the Inhumans. And I asked you, even though I just said it, actually, is the title a reference to the dog? Mm-hmm. And it is a reference to the dog. You also make a point to bring up the dog. You know Lockjaw is fucking huge.
Yeah. I mean, can you, like...
He's breaking this table of the song.
I mean, you know I'm a board member over at Heck House. We got we have a dog there called Humpty. Mm-hmm. Big fucking dog. He sees a new human, he wants to jump on you and be loved and shit. He's fucking huge. And like, this song was not written about him, but now when I think about the song, I can only think of him because he's a big ass fucking dog who wants to jump on you and get into all the trouble in the fucking world. That's awesome. Great with cats somehow. Like, he loves cats. But he loves people too, a little too much.
Because he's a big boy.
And his name is Humpty, or Sir Humps-a-Lot. And he lives up to his name.
I believe it.
You'll feel some paws around your waist and you'll be pulling the Thomas Dubois. You can't have my booty.
It's a very weird feeling when dogs start humping on you. It's really strange when you don't see it coming. It's even worse.
I mean, I hope I wouldn't see it coming. I'm hoping he doesn't. I'm hoping he doesn't reach that point.
Jeez. Okay. So toward the end of the song.
Yes.
It made me wonder. Did you have to poop while you wrote this song?
No.
Okay.
I don't think so.
Have you ever actually been in a situation where you were unable to poop due to a line in the bathroom?
I think the most recent time I had an issue where I had to shit. I was going to Oxygen, right? Mm-hmm. And usually I walk to Oxygen. It takes me about an hour and a half. I'm like, this is a great way to decompress, listen to some new music in my headphones and shit. And, you know, just not have to worry about shit. And I get about 20 minutes away. I'm like, I gotta go. So I can either A, backtrack 20 minutes back home and be late to Oxygen, or I can go 20 minutes forward and hit this one of these local bars I have to pass by to go there. I decided to go forward, and it's bad. I'm jogging. I'm like, I gotta go. By the time I sat down, if I had been 2 seconds later, I would have shat myself.
So I think there's something, and we're gonna talk about this here.
It's a real fear.
It's a comfortable place to talk about shitting here on GudGameTV. I think there's something
real shit.
To literally, we keep it real. All the shit's real. When you're thinking about having to poop and you really have to poop and you get close to that location where you can poop, your body knows. It's like, you know, your body knows. I think unconsciously we start to release the gates, and they each start to release one by one until the 8th gate is released. And hopefully by the time that happens, you make it to the bathroom. I feel sorry for anyone who did. Across the street, that's where my old gym used to be. You know, I used to live around the corner from here. It's about a mile and a half away. I broke a phone because I had to shit. I have a Google Pixel 11 in my pocket. I had just gotten this phone, and I'm texting Shorty that I was talking to some years ago, and what ends up happening? You know, I'm having a rough day. It was a rough time. It was just a very tough time.
Sounds like you broke your damn phone.
Well, even with that in mind, it was an even tougher time for different reasons. And I had to poop. I was about to go to my happy place, and I ended up running to the gym. I was literally like 100 feet away. Phone falls out of my pocket, face down. And when I tell you I had just taken off the protective cover so that I could put a new one on when I got home, it was the worst possible series of events that could have occurred. It was terrible. So
God, okay, no way.
I'm telling you, it was fucked up. I opened the phone screen, the LED underneath it is fucked up. When your LED gets fucked up on your phone, it'll start to leak. And that's what happened. And it just progressively ruined the rest of the phone. It was terrible. But take your time to make sure you don't have to shit. This is my message to people. Take your time to make sure you don't have to shit before you leave.
Sounds like it should be your number 2 priority.
It's your number 2 priority, okay? If not your number 1. You get the pee out first. Get the pee out first, okay? All right. we're going into songs. Would be 6. Star 69. Holy shit.
Star 69.
Star 69.
And that's for landline phones. That's how you return a call.
Really?
Yeah.
You return it.
It doesn't exist for cell phones anymore. It's for landline.
If I remember correctly, when I was growing up, I remember Star 69 being how you masked your call. Who on the caller ID?
No.
No?
Mm-mm. I don't remember what that one was, but Star 69 is returning a missed call.
Interesting.
I even double checked it recently just to make sure that my title was right, and it is ... And that's also how I found out it doesn't work for cellular devices. It's only for landline phones. So I was like, oh, this is a dated reference. I'm not changing the time.
I respect it. How long ago was this song written?
Originally, I had a different version of this song written around the same time as Black Magic, Lockjaw. Like, those are the 3 that made it past all these years. But this iteration was written in February. Because originally it was me making 3 different phone calls about things. But for this iteration, I decided to just focus on one thing. So instead of 16 bars, different topics is however many long this one is.
Okay. So my first question surrounding the song, do you feel like you have truly forgiven your father?
I hate that, man.
Okay.
I think if I have forgiven him, it is not for his sake. I want no contact with him. If I see him, he's getting these hands. But if he just leaves me the fuck alone, I'm leaving him the fuck alone. I want it to stay that way.
Okay. The song, it's very clear that he's a source of your pain. And so, to an earlier point, actually, going back to what we were talking about, Petulant, when we were talking about, or not Petulant, the very first track, your intro, an explanation in good faith before we begin, you made a point when talking about depression, and you it was very light and quick, and you had said something to you were about to say something to the effect of or you said something to the effect of, part of it could be this childhood trauma.
Trauma, honor, common, all defeat.
Exactly, and so it's one of those things where, it sounds like he is a source of that.
It is Chipotle Snipes.
It's not. It's Willie's.
It's Willie's. Same concept, different. Yeah.
That's my little cousin. That's my little bro. He was the one who went to Japan with me.
Oh, sick.
Yeah, he's man. You talk about somebody who can guide you through a city and know they shit about Japan. That's my little cuz, bro.
So
he's a blessing, truly. We had some moments, we did, and we was about to butt heads, and I'm thankful for him though, because had it not been for him, while I'm sure I could have found my way, he made it a lot easier to find my way and to feel comfortable moving about a country that I've never been in. So huge shout out to Snipes. I appreciate him for tuning into the stream too. I'm not looking at chat, I'm looking at questions. Imp can see chat. So if anyone has any questions or any thoughts that they'd like to share to them, let the Uncanny Imp know. That's what I likes to call them. I likes to call them the Uncanny Imp. So my next question regarding Star 69, holy shit. What is, to you, what's the importance of having a complete family unit, and do you think that is a struggle for, the original thought was black families, but I wanted to extend it to all families, because I know that this kind of behavior extends in multiple classes. It's so close to us as African Americans because it happens so frequently.
Family's important. Family is not what you're born into. Family is, I think the idiom is,
the covenant of blood is thicker than the water of the womb. Mm-hmm.
Took the words right out of my mouth. I think that's more important than blood family, because blood family is just who you're born into, and they could easily be ain't shit just as much as they could be great people.
Mm-hmm. Very, very true. Finding a home, I think this is why now for our age group, it's so important. Community is such a focus in America here. I think in other cultures, community has been a focus, and in other nations, community has been a lasting focus. While we have this hyper individualistic thought process at our base because of where we come from, speaking back to being products of our environment in so many ways, I think our age group and our generation is finding a sense of it important to have a sense of community. And because that's being so focused on in so many ways, It's allowing for a lot of bullshit to go on, for one, but then also it's allowing us to be able to be more vulnerable and comfortable, because I think to have a sense of community, it's important to have that kind of vulnerability, you know. That I completely agree. The covenant of the blood truly is thicker than the water of the womb. When people say blood is thicker than water, just know that they are shorting a much longer idiom. I would look up all of them, because there are a lot of ones that are very interesting if you look at them and then think about them. So to the song, you know, this is something it's both personal, but also I think it's important as we grow up as young people, not just men, young persons, non-cisgender, whatever. Like, as young people, we look at our parents and our families, or the people who raise us, and we look at the good and we look at the bad, and we try to really separate ourselves from the bad. And I think it's important that we do that. I also think to some degree it's important that we embrace what was bad and what was wrong. And so to that, I ask you, you know, what have you done to make sure that you are not like your dad?
What have I done? I'll start with the thing that I did take from him.
Okay.
If you're ever going to a movie theater for your popcorn, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you want to put some red pepper flakes on there, there's nothing wrong with taking a lot of them. If you're at a pizzeria, you can unscrew the top and pour a lot more on than just shaking the shit. And that's what I took from him. Outside of that, I don't think he had said something once when I was a kid, where he was very much in the idea of like the people that you date or are married to should be subservient to you, and I'm like, that sounds terrible.
It sounds awful.
Right. And of course, I say in the song that he said that I was a carbon copy of him. There are tons of lines that I didn't put on this song.
Mm-hmm.
My initial draft is probably like maybe 4 times longer than what you heard.
Damn.
Yeah. And I decided to cut a lot of it down just for consistency's sake, and making sure things were kind of like, I don't know, making sure the whole thing just seemed like a whole body of work instead of it just being the longest rant ever, because I could have gone on for significantly longer. I don't like physically hurting people, which was not his MO.
Yeah.
I'm not this isn't a thing that I think should have been a lesson from him, but a thing that like it's just a thing that's different for me. I'm not a religious zealot in the same way he was.
Okay.
Because he would find any and everything to like justify his actions or his temperament through the Bible, whether it was textual or not.
Mm-hmm.
And those are things that I'm just like not about.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if that entirely answers your question, but that's kind of where I'm at. Like, I don't fall into the pit of like trying to justify things that fall in line with moral values that aren't my own. I'm very much a skeptic in that I will question everything, even if I agree with it.
It's like Kendrick said, I gotta question it all. You gotta question it all. So to that though, what are some of your moral values that you live by? You know,
try your best to do well by others. Don't take any shit though. Don't take another person's food, because if someone takes my food, they will die.
Instant death. That's why I bought them their own food. Unless we had a pizza. If we had a pizza, then we share. Gotta share pizza.
It's the circle of life.
It's the circle of life. You get it. See, you get it.
But no, like, don't take someone's food without permission. Of course, permission is another case. Do well by others. Do not expect someone to be foul or disgusting because they don't necessarily ascribe to everything that you ascribe to, because people are allowed to have their own line of thought.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's, outside of like self-defense, I don't think it's ever okay to just randomly hurt people.
Agreed.
I don't know. There's just a lot of things that I could get into that I think would probably be it would probably be very mopey of me and very long-winded for me to get into every little thing that he's done. There's a lot of things that I've suppressed. Like there have been times where like I would like maybe wake up out of my sleep. I'm like, was that a thing that happened? And I'll have to like call my mom and be like, was this a thing that happened when I was younger? Yeah, it was. And she'll probably say something that I remembered but didn't even bring up in the conversation. I was like, oh yeah, that was definitely a thing. Like there's just tons of like just bullshit that I've had to like witness and see either enacted upon me, enacted upon my mom's, or seeing the ways he would interact with other people. He was a major gaslighter. Just a lot of shit that I do not ever want to like. Part of it is like I don't want to acknowledge myself because suppression is just a response to it.
Yeah. And
the other part of it is I don't want to be that.
I feel you. It's I think it's the natural progression to approach that to have that desire to not want to be that. I think that also it's the idea that the next generation's supposed to do better.
Right.
We're raised, a lot of us, and some of us have to figure it out ourselves. I think that goes back to us talking about being a product of our environment, but we have to figure out how not to be the people that how to not take on the behaviors of the people who raised us. Mm-hmm. That we don't like. Because, I say that loving both my parents, and I love my parents. Without either of them, I wouldn't be doing the things that I'm doing in my life.
I love that for you.
There are areas, though, for both of them, that while I do find humorous in some ways now, I also acknowledge I probably want to do that.
Yeah.
I probably want to take that approach. I probably don't want that kind of anger. I probably don't want to be arguing this way. It's just certain shit. So I peep that. I really do. I appreciate you answering that. I love when we talk. I really do. Like this, it feels so natural. It feels like, and it's interesting because since I've known you, it's like, upon meeting you and like actually talking to you in person, past reaching out to you and others for music and such, it felt a lot more brotherly. It's very easy. I have very kind of what I've learned the phrase being like pause play relationships, and with a lot of my closest friends, I have those kinds of relationships. A lot of people can't handle it. You can. I know I can. People, homies like Francois can. With individuals like yourself, though, it's always been very brotherly and very like familial in so many ways, and so I've always appreciated that. I think that's just tight. I love when we get a chance to talk. So again, thank you for letting me do this with you.
Thank you for giving me the opportunity to do so.
Most def.
Yassine Bey.
That's what you said earlier. That's what that meant. I'm like, why did they bring up Yassine Bey? I like walked into closed my bedroom door thinking about that. I'm like, what the fuck are they talking? Just making jokes again. No, that's what you meant. Because I said most def earlier. Now I get it. That's hilarious. Okay.
You got me back in the Leo Baker thing.
My god.
I gotta make a public apology to Leo Baker and be like, yo, I dead named you by accident. I didn't know. I'm sorry.
Falling in and out of one not knowing. I don't think one can be. I'll tell you this. I'll say it this way. If you literally never knew and not knowing did not affect your thought process.
I'm non-binary. I know how this is gonna go.
Exactly. Like there's no fault. Because I don't want to omit racism. Because it's one of those things where you think when I say what I say, like just now, I'm like, to say you don't know and then allow certain shit to happen that you know is wrong, and you know that that's wrong. You see it happening, you know that's wrong. It's a whole different thing.
Right.
Versus not knowing at all and finding out. You know, it's the inaction that I think is the biggest impact, and I think a lot of folks missed it. Track 7. I'm staying on track.
Is it Follow the Music?
It is Follow the Music. Is that track 7? This is track 7 technically.
I think so.
I have it as 6.
Yeah.
It's technically 7. I typed it based off of how I saw it.
Yeah.
So, 1, shout out to Ali Sahir.
Ali Sahir spoke to them yesterday.
Ali Sahir, how are they doing?
They're good. They'll be here in June.
Really?
June 9th. They're coming down with their girlfriend to visit Atlanta.
Really?
Yeah, so I've already totally, all right, we're going to Thinking Man because it's going to be on a Sunday. We're going to go to the industry night there where they have DJs and shit play. The kitchen stays open stupid late. Like, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I did not know that happened there.
Yeah.
What? Oh. May I join you?
Please.
I shouldn't invite myself to things.
I will invite you.
Oh,
but I'm also certain because I spoke to Ali yesterday and was like, yeah, I'm going to see Cap tomorrow. And Ali was like, oh, word. Yeah.
Go! Anyway, that would be dope because I think I will be back. I'll make plans to be back by Sunday night at least.
Yeah, June 9th.
Yes, because I'm going to be gone. I'm going to see my girlfriend. Huge shout out to my lady. She's wonderful. In a couple weeks, I'm very excited to do it. I really am. She made me feel some type of way. Anyway, on this song, Follow the Music, we have 3 verses. We have one from Ali. Who's the second one from?
The second verse is from a group called Throne. Their Instagram handle and TikTok handle is @SomeRapCouple. They so the members are of Throne, Yahathius and Yahega. They are the people who organize for the collective Hidden Renaissance, big ass music collective.
Okay.
You've heard me.
I've heard of
Yeah, you've heard me on the song Dinero, produced by Bukalu, featuring Chaos TV or Chaos Televised.
Shout outs everywhere.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, that's really cool. Because I was wondering, that was my first question, is who were the other people on the track? That was literally the next question.
Yeah.
But then also, what has following the music led you to?
This interview right now.
I just want you to know. So there was a question I asked you a couple of years ago. Your delivery was very similar, and I was like, "How do you lose a beat?" It was something to the effect of that, because me and you were talking about, I want to say it was Pigeon or someone lost a beat, and you were like, I was like, "How do you do that? Like, how do you lose a beat? Whatever." And you were like, "You forget to cherish it." The exact same delivery is what you just delivered now. I thought that was the funniest way that you said that shit. I just thought it was a funny line, and I will never forget it. But you're right. It did lead you here. It led you. Where else has it led you? From where you've grown to where you are now is different. It's very different.
Yeah,
a lot of that is because of your music experience.
I mean, I hate bragging if it's not in song format, but
it's a place to do it.
Dog, I've been on OK Player. I've been on Dead in Hip Hop's website. I've been on Adult Swim. I did a rally for Planned Parenthood. I've done several fucking things just by the fact that I've been able to do music and be true to myself within the things that I write and record. So that's about the size of it. I have to give credit where credit is due.
Mm-hmm.
This is a song that I produced, but Ali had heard this beat, and Ali was like, "I like this beat. Can I get it?" And I had given it to another friend of mine who just never did anything with it, and I was like, "Take it, Ali." So Ali records to it and gets the members of Throne on it, and then a lot of time passes, and this is during the period where Ali was like, "Yeah, the rapping's not here anymore." And I was like, "Okay." And as I'm putting this project together, I called Ali around their birthday last year. By last year, I mean like a few months ago, December. Mm-hmm. And it was like, yo, Ali, you still got follow the music and whatnot? Yeah. It kind of fits the sound of what I'm doing right now. Were you putting that anywhere? Not at the moment. Is it cool if I take it back? You could say no. And Ali was like, that's cool. So I managed to get the song back with Throne's feature on there. And I spoke to Throne since then. They were like, they didn't even know I produced it. So that was cool. And I went ahead and laced my verse on it, and now it's on Idle Hands.
That's awesome.
So
that's really cool.
Yeah, Ali was the one who did the chorus and came up with the concept of the whole joint. My verse was written after everyone else's.
You both have a very you speak to your activism in your music, and I really appreciate that about you all's sound. I think maybe it's just because of what I listen to. I'm sure other artists do it, but I don't. I just like to hear it. You know, I feel like I don't hear it enough, and it's definitely obviously because I'm not listening to it enough. I'd love to hear it from people that are like close to me and that I fuck with. It's just so cool. And I love Ali. I love Ali's direction, which is generally very positive, very motivational, very inspirational, and similar to yourself, very grounded in your day to day, in their day to day as well. And it's something that y'all stand true to yourselves. I hope you never stop.
I could gush about how much I love my younger sibling Ali so much.
Go ahead and gush.
Like Ali, the day I met Ali was at Cartridge. Shout out to Cartridge ATL. Cartridge ATL was still at Wonder Kid off of Memorial Drive, I want to say. And I saw Ali talking to Francois, who we mentioned a couple of times so far today. Shout out to Francois.
Go ahead.
Yeah, Francois was telling Ali about Controller Eyes, because this was like maybe a month before Controller Eyes came back, I think. And I was like, y'all talking about Controller Eyes? Let me mosey my way on into this conversation. And I got to meet Ali, and ever since then, Ali and I have been like stupid tight, like between like recording songs together, cracking jokes, our mutual political musings and whatnot. Like Ali is very much, as I said to them yesterday, very much friend shaped. Yeah. No, I love that kid. I doubt there's anything that would ever change that for me. I love Ali so much.
I love Ali too. They're extremely good people. Always positive energy. Always a joy to be around. Very funny.
Very funny.
Very intelligent as well, especially for how young they are. Like,
absolutely. Absolutely.
It's until you said younger, I forgot that they were not around our age. Because me and you are around the same age.
Yeah.
They're like what, 3 or 4 years younger than us?
I'm a year older than you, if I recall correctly.
Yes.
So I want to say maybe like 5 years younger.
5 years younger. God damn.
If I had to guess.
Okay. Damn. Crazy. So, to that, in speaking about Ali, they're in Massachusetts right now, or Maine, something to the effect of that same area.
Massachusetts. Worcester, Massachusetts.
Worcester, Massachusetts. What is it like working with someone who's out of state?
I mean, like what I do with Archiflex or Daniel Saylor or Jarhead, emails. If you get along as friends, and y'all appreciate the music each other makes, and y'all have a similar style in which y'all create music, and the chemistry in which you will create music is just natural and seamless.
Yeah, that's awesome. What's that? So you say emails, and I mean I've heard it was weird because for the longest time I always thought that artists, when they did songs together, they typically were in a booth together. But I learned a long time ago that is not always the case.
Yeah, it's not always the case.
It was I was listening to a Busta Rhymes interview, interestingly enough, when I realized that. I was like...
Was it the one about the Biggie verses?
I don't think it was that. I think it was when he came out with not his most recent album. It was the second fucking version, or the second edition of an older album that I can't remember the name of it right now. Wait. It's Extinction Level 2.
Okay.
Extinction Level 2. Jeez. I watched the interview and he was talking about verses being sent back and forth with Kendrick on Look Over Your Shoulder. And I was like, what do you mean verses being sent back and forth? Like, what? Extinction Level Event 2. Thank you, Big Panther. And so it was interesting because I was like, I didn't realize that wasn't always the case. Yeah. I know there was for a time because you had to, because we didn't have the internet like we do now. But yeah, sure you have a good relationship with him, but it's not like y'all are coding and you have a GitHub repository. It's like it's
no, we got a mega folder right now. This has just been established like a few days ago where we just been sending files back and forth. When I did the song Uncanny Magicians with Ali on Ali's not most recent record, but the one before that. No, there was a Beast Night album before that, 2 records ago. I was at Ali's space. Like, I pulled up. Ali had sent me the beat like maybe a week beforehand. I pull up. There's a bunch of MCs in the room. I'm recording these shit that they had wrote to it. I was like, I didn't write anything. So I'm having my headphones in and I'm like, okay, fuck, shit. All right, throw me in. And I do my verse in like maybe 2 takes. I'm like, okay, we're good.
Do you feel a sense of like competition in either scenario?
Yeah. Yes.
Where is it more so when you're in the room with people, or doesn't matter?
I think the thing that will up it is when if I know what they're doing already. Because if I just get like a blank verse, then I'm just gonna hear the beat and I'm gonna just approach it like I would any other song. I'm just gonna be like, what fits the vibe? If there's a hook, I'm gonna fit that. And if someone else has a verse on there already, then it's like, okay, I have to make sure that I'm not the worst verse on this song. And I want to do something that either alludes to the hook or alludes to something else that's in the other verse, just to help tie things together.
I like that. I love I think hip hop, until recently, and I guess there were a couple other little beefs that happened. I wouldn't call it, I guess, a lot little. When a beef happens, it can be pretty major. But I think this recent one, which is very bizarre in so many ways.
Is it Kendrick and...
Not the Kendrick and Drake one, but even like Drake and Pusha and, thinking back...
There's history.
Yeah, there's a lot of history. Well, there's history in both, right?
I mean, same history for that. That all goes back to Birdman and Pharrell. Mm-hmm. Because Birdman didn't pay for a beat from Pharrell, and that's why all of this is going on.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's why Kendrick said I can pick up Pharrell's beat. Oh.
Yeah, all like the whole thing between Pusha T and Lil Wayne, Pusha T and Drake, Kendrick and Drake. Wow. Well, I assume that Kendrick's beef with Drake has other tales of history to it.
Yes.
But ultimately, you can tie all this back to Birdman not paying Pharrell for a beat.
Interesting. I did not realize that.
As RC Panther just said in the chat, Bape.
Facts. Bape, yeah. Shout out. Because the dude that made Bape, he's dope. Nigo. Yeah, that's his first name. I forget his last name. But yeah, what is it? I was saying that to say we don't. The idea of competition, it seems so much. It doesn't seem as much of a priority. You know, you hear. I think you hear people talk about it when you hear people like Drake speak to. People speak about or not Drake, fucking Cole. Cole will kill a verse. For all these other artists, his features insane.
Sometimes. Oh yeah, he's been on a slew of that the past few years.
Constant. It's like he's running around with the axe just to do it, just to kill verses. And so it's you hear about it there, but you don't. It's not as competitive. It feels like as it used to be. So hearing that in any space you feel like it is competitive, I think is really cool, and I think it's really important that. Artists, remember, you're not the only one doing what you're doing. Mm-hmm. And you are very good at doing what you do, but in the grand scheme of the culture and the experience, you always have competition. There's always someone out here trying to eat your lunch kind of shit. You know what I'm saying? I think that shit's important to remember. I just think that shit gets lost. And so we move on. Track 8, Rhetorical Question.
That song was written for that song is produced by Jarhead the Nobody. Shout out to Sobratic Screw. That song was written, beat was made, and recorded within less than 24 hours. I had wrote my verse, and I hit up Jar and was like, "Yo, fam, you got any beats? I want you on this record." And Jar was like, "I can make one real quick." And I was like, "Cool. Let me record this feature that I owe you." They sent me the beat, and I was like, "Cool. Let me get the WAV file after I record this verse I owe you." I get up the following morning and I record like 3 verses, all features. Mm-hmm. That's a Jarhead song included. And I was like, "Here's the verse for your song. Cool. Here's the WAV file for the beat. Cool." And I record my verse to that song. So I record like 4 songs within that 24-hour span.
Damn.
Yeah.
Does that feel like an endurance test?
It is kind of an endurance test, but for me, within the things that I had, like the 3 verses that I had to record, every verse that I had to record that day actually were already written. Like the one for Rhetorical Question was written like the night before, right before I went to sleep. Mm-hmm. So for me, it was just like a matter of making sure my vocal inflections were on point, my flow was on point and whatnot. But as far as like trying to come up with the lyrics, like all of that was mostly already done. So
okay,
yeah.
Excellent. This song is, what is it? It's roughly around like 230, 240.
I think so, but I only rap for like maybe 17 bars.
And the last part of it is just music playing out.
Yeah, it's like a minute of an intro and a minute of an outro with a verse set somewhere in the middle.
Yeah, I love those kinds of tracks. I want more of them in my life. And so to the content of what you're speaking to, what scares you about making bonds? You spoke to ulterior motives earlier. So I think we can safely say that that's one thing. But what else scares you about making bonds?
I think in regards to this song, when I wrote it, it was about the fact that one day I would lose the people that I made bonds with. Because again, a lot of this record is based around grief. Mm-hmm. Whether it's apparent in songs like Adult Swim, Bone, Petulant, the song after this, etc. Mm-hmm. Or if it's just like something that's sitting in the back of my mind, like, because when you ever have a pet, one day that pet will die. You're setting yourself up to have a lot of happiness, and at the end of it is a lot of sadness.
To ask me that question it's got a weird weight because I handle death very differently.
That's fair.
I find people in my close circles do. I cried when Fendi died. I did. When I found out, I cried hard. And then I know, just based off of how I've grown up, I live and I move. We keep pushing. My thought is, what happens. My grandfather, my mother's father, he died. That man was like, in so many ways, like a father to me. And it is the grieving process. I don't know that I fully went through it because as soon as he died, I had to go to college and I was still a high school student, and life kept happening, and I knew life was gonna keep going without me. And I think some time ago, recognizing that people have that thought process, because at the end of the day, other than the people who are close with them as well, they care, but everyone else don't give a shit. They'll give you your time you need, and then you keep pushing forward. Which is the reason I really appreciate actually my manager, because when Fendi passed, and I shared that news, him and like my staff, they were like, "Yo, go do your thing, take the day, go ahead." And so I was able to do that. But there are some folks there that are like that. At the end of the day, though, you gotta get back to work the next day. You gotta get back to doing what you're doing the next day as much as possible. So that's to me, I hold that very tight, and it seems very heartless. I feel very heartless because of it, because I don't know how to handle sadness, because for so many reasons. Because as an emotional person, because to me in my mind, I've like flipped the switch to keep moving forward. Shout out to Meet the Robinsons, because that's where that shit really does come from in so many ways. It does. Loss is hard though. You know, I know like how it can affect I know the gravity of how it can affect others. Being vulnerable, I would say, also falls into that category of difficulty. You're opening yourself up to people who you might just be meeting for the first time. It might be people you've known for a year or years, but you've never really just been like there with, you know? And when you start to feel comfortable doing that, it can be very scary, very daunting. So, you know, to that, you speak about the hedgehog dilemma. You spoke to that in this song. Do you have trouble being vulnerable with other people, and why?
I think we spoke on this before. Not knowing that people will expect something reciprocal about it sometimes, and not always in the sense of like, not in like a one-to-one, like just sharing things, but like I had to deal with this, you owe me a thing for sharing your pain. And like, it's different from like a therapist session where like I'm supposed to pay my therapist to sit and talk and give me resources and whatnot. And sometimes it's just talking, and then it's like, I had to hear about all your shit. Yeah, you owe me something for that. And it's like, I didn't realize this was a transactional kind of thing or whatever.
How much do you think that is at all self-imposed?
What's self-imposed?
That idea of it being a transaction for you.
For me, I think I wouldn't say it's necessarily self-imposed. I think it's more so a learned thing.
From so many times of you doing it and having that kind of response.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and also there's like the sense of like, excuse me, like, sort of like in the same sense of like, something good happened to me, I expect something really shitty to happen next. Like I'm always wary of like what is the thing that is going to happen because I did anything sort of vulnerable or whatnot. I'm constantly having my walls up. I'm always on my defense. Just because I don't know how me letting any sort of quote unquote weakness, being vulnerable is a strength. Let me go ahead and knock that out. But I don't know how any sort of weakness, quote unquote, will come back to bite me in the ass at some point.
Yeah, and I think your point about it using the word weakness is that people see it as that. I literally
hence the quotations.
Exactly, and it's fucked up. And again, parents love them. Mother, hard Detroit woman, very guarded, and I respect her so much for it, especially for being able to raise 7 children while being so, and also teaching us in so many ways how not to be, but literally verbatim, she said, do not open up to people, because if you do, they're always going to turn around and bite you in the ass.
Boom.
That's literally, for all intents and purposes, that's what she said to me. And I was like, at this time, I was like 24, maybe 25. And I was just sitting there like, Ma, no. Like, you know, and even if they do, I guess is the reason why I had this thought process and why I say no. It's because I think so what? You know, if I open up to you and you decide to show your hand, you fucked up. Because you don't need me in your life if that's how you're going to treat me for being open with you, you know? It's this thought process of like, I don't need a big circle of people. You know, I don't think us as people, I think we look for friends in so many different places and in so many different ways, and we look for these bonds because of what we see now, but also because we want community. In looking for these bonds, you might be missing out on the bonds that you have and could be forming with people who are already close to you, who do respect you and treat you right, you know, the way you should be. And at the end of the day, to me personally, I think that's all the people that you need. You know, I got a handful of homies out here that I actually call homies, like for real.
And a solid handful is worth a lot. What's the idiom rather? A bird in the hand is worth two in the bush.
Yes, exactly. And so it's like, if I got this one bird, or I got these, you know, I'd say somewhere around like 7-8 people in 2 separate groups, which breaks down to like 5 and 3 or however the fuck. That's all I need. I don't need to be friends with everybody in the whole music community. I need to be friends with everyone in my friends groups, my friends' friends groups. I just, you know. So I encourage you and others, like, you know, to be close to the people you close with. You know who rock with you, you know who don't.
Yeah.
You know.
It's admittedly it's been a little difficult for me to maintain my friendships as of late.
Yeah.
Like I've got some who are like, I get it, and for some others are like, why have you been so distant? It's like, because I'm fucking scared, dude. like it's I don't know, something along the lines of just being wary of something going south. I've had a couple of friends who like changed their whole tune because of me going through the grieving process, and I guess for whatever reason maybe they don't get it, or maybe they thought I'd get over it faster or whatever. I can't entirely tell what it is, but whatever it is, I'm still going through a lot of emotions. Not to make it like a one-to-one scientific. Everything follows a certain timeline kind of thing. I made a whole point to look up how long the grieving process is, and it was like, on average you will experience feelings of grief for about 6 months. It's been slightly over 6 months, if I recall correctly, and even so, I still have very hard moments where like I'll wake up in tears, or I'll get stuck in like memory lane of like just stuff we spoke on that we were ready to do or we're going to do, and it's still I don't know, just being bugged by knowing that the plans we had made are now for naught, but also like just not knowing how things could have been, knowing that there is nothing I could do to like help. I don't know.
That's the idea of there being something you could do to help, even in the moment. It's a very solution-oriented mindset. Like, you know, and it's also that desire to have your friend back, your family back with you. I understand that. I'm gonna just leave it at that. For this song, the rhetorical question is this that moment? Because again, it is short. Your lyrically, it is short. The song itself got, you know, its weight to it, but overall, I would say it's the shortest of the. Next to the intro, it's the shortest song on the album.
It is I think it's you could either say it's the last song I wrote or the second to last song I wrote, depending on how you want to look at things. I don't usually write things like back to front, one song, move on to the next. This was written in one night, and like the song that follows it, I wrote the second verse after I wrote the entirety of this one, rhetorical question.
Okay. Was this song kind of like a pillow talk to yourself? Like you laying in the bed talking to yourself?
I was definitely laying in my bed when I wrote this. I wrote it on my phone.
Wow. Go cat. Call it.
Good on you.
Well, it literally was you in bed talking, thinking to yourself, and just expressing in that way. It's a beautiful thing. I loved it. Because as I listened to it, I sit and I'm like, yo, They are. This sounds very personal. Which I have one more question regarding it, and it is the obvious question. It is your last question. What do you get when you mix a joke and a rhetorical question?
You tell me.
I asked you here because I didn't know. Okay? That's why I asked you here. I listened to this song more than 5 times, okay? In the last 2 weeks. And I still don't know the answer. I didn't want to look it up. I could have. I didn't want to.
You can.
I want your answer. Tell the people. Help me.
I don't have one.
Damn. If anyone knows the answer, please help me. I would love to know what you get when you mix a joke and a rhetorical question. I don't know where you can leave anything. Just hit me up. Shoot me a text if you have my number. I don't know. Moving on. And I wanted to take a moment, literally, because there are people in your life who, the shortest way I can say it is have an impact. Then some of these people you meet for a very short amount of time, in the grand scheme of things.
It might be sarcasm, RC. Sorry.
Might be. Is it sarcasm? Is it actually sarcasm?
It might be.
That's crazy.
It comes from a dad joke.
Track 9 is Good Grief. And so, in that, I would love to take a moment to grieve and to just have a moment of silence for the homie Cassius John Francois Jr. I wrote the whole name down because I did not.
That's funny.
I did. Okay.
This is a cigarette, not weed, for anyone looking.
Everyone, they're smoking weed on my stream. You
No,
should
I'm not.
condemn them anyway.
No, I'm not. I'd be high by now if I was smoking weed.
Man. Yo, I don't. Look. Okay. Oh, I'm surprised that I'm not more tipsy. But Modelo's are just crispy, nice drinks.
I started to feel it with this one.
Really? I don't know. I'm on.
How many are you on?
You had 3, right?
This is my third.
This your 3rd? I'm on 4.
Damn.
I know. And I only weigh like 200. So it's not like I'm out here, stacked shit. Just, I just like, the Modelo's are really good. They're very easy to drink.
They are.
Good Grief. Track number 9. That was a tough fucking week, and I know it's been a tough 8 months for you.
I cannot listen to that song.
Understandably
I
so.
recorded it. I mixed it. I cried while recording it. I can't listen to it.
When did you record it?
Do you remember the eclipse we had?
Yes.
That day.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. That's pretty cool. That's a that, like I said, for me it was a Tuesday. I don't always look at my phone when I wake up in the morning, and I definitely don't look at Twitter when I wake up in the morning. Make a habit.
That's a mistake.
If nothing else, generally and it's my personal Twitter. I have to look at Twitter for work and shit, so there's that. But I don't look at my personal Twitter. And I did. Not for any reason. Seeing your tweet, the disbelief, the shock. And then not long after crying and talking to now a close friend, And then I called Super M actually, because Super M bought a beat from him. A year before. He hit you up about some beats and shit too for his for VR boxing, for Ringside VR. Shout out to Ringside VR. And then also just thinking about him, I remember the year before, literally, we were in my apartment, or maybe it was earlier that year. No, it was the year before, because Q wasn't living with me at the time. We were in my apartment after a very long night of tomfoolery. It just hanging out. That shit was so... I think I met you all at 529?
Yeah. It was the show.
In EAV.
The KFC murder chicks were supposed to pull up and they had car problems.
Yup.
No Eyes played. No Eyes played.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was a beautiful night. I saw Francis there. I was like, this is great.
I was just thinking about that night literally the other day.
It literally is a night that I hold as a fond memory because I was doing what I, at the time, did frequently, which I won't speak on here. I was engaging in tomfoolery and nonsense. And while engaging in tomfoolery and nonsense, I just remember seeing y'all and be like, yo!
I didn't expect to see you.
I didn't expect to see you either. I don't even know how I ended up at that show. I don't even know how. I'm not gonna lie. I think it was Francois might have told me about it. Shout out to Francois.
Big shout out to Francois.
Big shout out to Francois. But, going with you all, we ended up going to Heck House. And I'll never forget, I was up, because when I'd be on that tomfoolery and nonsense, I'd be up late. And you had gone to sleep, and Fendi was just up making a beat. And I was like, yo, this dude is really about that life. Yeah. And for as long as he had been making beats, I think at that point it was like 3 years.
He started early 2021.
Exactly. Oh, so 2 years. So at that time, to see him so engrossed in his craft and just vibing, you know how he fucking rocked with his shit. Off beat to whatever he was making. It was a beautiful thing. And like I said, I can never forget it because it's I find joy in seeing people engaging in their craft, and them acting and really, zoning in. They don't even have to be in a flow state, but just like honing in and just enjoying and having a good time doing what they do as creatives. Seeing him do that had me like, yo, this shit's fire. And then the next day, I don't even know where we went to. A couple different places.
I think that's the day we went to do that show for it was at Underground Atlanta, thrown by Shy High.
Yes,
Shout out Shy High.
Shout out to Shy High. Shout out, shorty, she's so cool.
Yeah, we went to that thing because I had a gig that day to do. I had a lot of gigs during that time.
You did.
I did like 5 gigs that week.
Yes. I remember you. Now that you mention it, I remember you speaking to that. You had a lot of shit going on. You did a great job.
Thank you.
That day, I remember enjoying it. I remember also walking away from you all and falling asleep in this like random fucking, because we were up all night in this random like gallery in Underground Atlanta listening to these old white dudes play like guitar and tuba. It was bizarre, but it was awesome. And then just like catching up with y'all, we went back to my place. I think we slept for a minute. I don't think I cooked, but I just remember vibing out.
I don't remember that. I remember taking a shower.
Yes, you both at my place. You both did.
It was a hot ass summer day.
It was a hot ass summer day. We was some sweaty motherfuckers. And I remember you two ended up leaving when we got like not too long after we got back to my place. So it was just like, just that time I was like, yo, these are my homies. This was dope. This is one of those things where it's like, starting GudGameTV and being able to engage with you and many of the other people and many of the other producers specifically that I've been able to engage with and have just these moments, interviews, beat battles, whatever. That was, it was to be able to live in like moments like that where I could like just be hanging out with some dope fucking people.
Damn, it's almost like we were friends or something.
Oh my god! Who would have thought? But I just wanted to be close to really people I thought were really fucking cool and people I think were really cool. And Fendi had that energy every time. Sometimes I wouldn't even see him, but I would hear Cap. I'd be like, oh. Just super happy because he was happy. Very positive in public facing, and I would imagine to some extent even privately in some cases. Listen, well, everyone has their day.
I know a lot of his private life,
right?
And definitely a lot of what people thought he was is definitely not one of one. I don't think that's ever going to be the case. But
right.
As people who were very close to one another while he was alive, I knew and saw a lot of just the stuff that he would go through. We would speak on a lot of stuff that I don't dare to ever share because those are things that
right.
So
yeah. What is that relationship? How does that relationship start?
Being in college and seeing a guy who allegedly quit smoking cigarettes, I didn't know at the time, asking me for a cigarette and offering him a cigarette, one of my hand rolls. And then a couple of weeks later, finding out we have similar tastes in music, and cracking jokes and whatnot. And, hey, I'm having a party in my apartment. You should come through. Show up. You see all the tomfoolery that goes on there. And, same way any friendship. You don't really get to decide how it transitions, but just by nature of hanging out, cracking jokes, and getting to know the idiosyncrasies of how each of y'all operate and your personalities and whatnot. That was my buddy.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Good Grief is about Fendi, and it is.
There's a letter.
A letter to Fendi.
Yeah.
What do you want to say to all the people? This is the time here. You can in the camera talk that shit to all the people that are asking you for Cash's beats.
Suck a dick. Suck a dick. The only person who asked me for anything music related post his death that I did not take any offense to was Victor Mariachi. Victor, before Cassius passed away.
They had done an album together.
Yeah, Cassius had given him a whole beat pack. I have the whole beat pack.
Wow.
Victor released an album a few months ago called Pomades and Palomas.
Mm-hmm.
And the beat pack was maybe if I had to guess, it's maybe 20 or so beats that he used, 6 for his record. Victor had hit me up and was like, I don't even know if I should still put this out. And I looked at him and I was like, he gave you those beats. Yeah, do it. If you feel so inclined to do it, I can't stop you. He wanted you to have those. And he asked me, are you willing to help me see this to fruition? And I was like, yeah, dude. Yeah. So I did some mixing work on that record. I'm the only feature on there. I gave 2 verses for it. But yeah, Victor was very very genuine and very sweet about his approach to even wanting to release it. There's been several times throughout his promotion process for it up till its release where he was asking me, is this okay? Can I do this? I don't want to disrespect his life or his legacy or whatever. And it was as far as I'm concerned, just because you even had the audacity to ask me, and audacity is the wrong word, but because you had the will to, or the
respect,
the couth to even ask me about all this and go about it in that way, I don't see you doing anything wrong. I trust you. Do what you have to. Because I've definitely had people, like, even on the day of his funeral, saying, you got all the unreleased Fendi beats. You trying to rap on those with me?
That's fucking ridiculous.
Yeah. And I'm like, fuck out of my face. I don't care. Like, I've had that from several people just trying to get stuff that he didn't put out or just stuff that I had of his. And I'm like, I'm not about this. Victor was great. Victor definitely had his feet set in the realms of wanting to make sure that he did everything in a very respectful, very like courteous kind of way to what Cassius had.
Yeah.
And a lot of people didn't. Well, I don't know if it's for clout reasons, whether because they just so happen to like what he did. I don't give a shit. Like, a lot of it I did not care for. And a lot of it really pissed me off. Like, there was a point in time where, even now, where I was like, I'm so done. I made a post on my Instagram stories. I was like, if any of y'all have ever asked me for his beats, and I put up an example from one popular rapper who I won't name, where they were like, hey, we should do some work, and you got any Fendi beats running? I basically just said on my Instagram stories, if you've ever asked me for anything similar to this or whatever, you're a fucking clown. Leave me the fuck alone. Eat shit, die slowly. And I went about my day, deleted my Instagram, not the account, but like the app, and went about my day for maybe a month or two. And I was like, I don't want to talk to anyone. I don't want to think about shit.
Yeah. There's a time and a place to me, and an approach. You talk about someone like Victor and his approach.
Victor was great.
There's a way you go about this shit, and if you're just a fucking moocher, you can fuck off. It's
right.
as simple as that. It's like straight up. At first, I'm not gonna lie, and I can admittedly say and open and respectfully say because I don't have the history you two do. I don't have the anger. You know, I can't. It doesn't make logical sense to me.
I understand.
So, however, I was kind of torn when I saw that album. I was like, my nigga just died. Like, what are we doing here? Like,
I mean,
let him rest. But I respect that shit.
If I was on the outside looking in and didn't know,
that's exactly what it is. That's exactly what it is.
Like, even my manager, we were hanging out yesterday, and they were like, "There's a new Fendi album up," and I was like, "I don't know shit about it." And I'm like, "Who is this guy?" I don't fucking know who this is. So like maybe he bought beats from Cash. I don't fucking know.
Yeah.
But as far as Victor Mariachi doing Pomades and Palomas, I had known about that before Fendi passed away.
Yeah.
Fendi was like, I sent Vic all these fucking beats, and that's just gonna be fucking fire and whatnot. And after he passed, Victor reached out to me because he knew Fendi and I were besties, and was like, he wasn't even sure if he should still put it out. He had massive amounts of hesitation and whatnot, and I was like, yeah, do it. He gave those to you. What are you gonna do? Not take the gift? I know that's a problem I have. I'm bad at accepting gifts, but like,
I mean, you're not the only one.
yeah, but like he had his hesitations, and I was like, you like these beats, right? And he gave them to you. You like the songs that you did to him. And he was like, yeah. He heard the record, right? He heard about 85, 90% of the album before he died, and he fucked with it. And why are you going on to it? Do you think? I'm a little different in that regard because my relationship with Cash was a little different. Because like, I have a slew of beats of his that like, I had literally the day before, I had finally found out what I wanted the concepts for the entirety of our next album to be, and I was like, I'm gonna record like half of this before I even text him about it. And then the following day, I hadn't heard from him the entirety of the day. I was like, he's probably busy. He's probably like seeing some shorty or whatever.
We all know what kind of shorties Fendi be out there. Fendi be out.
I say it in the song. And, so like, I wasn't even sweating. I get the phone call from one of the bartenders from the bar he was at the previous night. He was like, yeah, he died.
and I could tell from his tone of voice with the way it was cracking up that I knew he was honest. Went outside in chain smoked. My buddy Jamarlin picked me up. He didn't even know what was eating at me. I was just like, "Are you busy?" He was like, "I can come grab you and we can hang out." And it took me maybe an hour after we got to our destination for me to even tell him what had happened. And he was like, "Really?" And I was like, "Yeah." He was like, "Oh." Like, he didn't think I was serious at first, I don't think. A lot of people didn't think I was serious at first.
A lot of people didn't.
Yeah.
It, you know, we're talking about Fendi Pendergrass. Cassius John Francois Jr. He's a close homie of a lot of people. I like to call the collective like the Controllerized Collective, because that's my introduction to the collective of individuals.
We all went to Controllerized.
Yeah, and I met a lot of everyone, and so he was a blessing in so many ways. And so it's, like last October, like that's why I called you, like, "Yo, nigga, where are y'all at? What is going on and what is happening?" Because when you posted about that, I immediately sent all the messages, y'all.
Yeah, I was at Waller's Coffee when I finally put the post up.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't sleep. I was their first customer of the day. I got there at 7:50 in the morning. I walked there. They open at 8.
Mm-hmm.
I walked in and I was like, "I'm so sorry to be your first customer. The second you put the open sign up, I just need this." Bazzuti took off work and drove by. You saw it shortly after.
Mm-hmm. And then we were at Thinking Man's Tavern for some hours.
We went to my parents' basement.
My parents' basement. Thinking Man Tavern is where oxygen happens. Yes, we were at my parents' basement for half the day, honestly, until the night.
My phone kept ringing the whole damn time.
Mm-hmm. We were with a lot of folks came through. A lot of different people came through. So shout outs to everybody that came through and showed love. And just like took the time. Like that shit was dope. And then we went over to Haunters and Christie's. Mm-hmm. And that shit was cool too. That was a long fucking day. It was a long week. Like I said, I know for yourself it's been a long 8 months. And that's a hard loss. It's hard when you lose people in your community. People that you're super close to and people that have had that light and impact like Cash has had. So, like, I definitely get it into that. Like, I asked with regard to Good Grief, what are some of your favorite tracks that you and Fendi worked on?
The first one we did together is a joint called The Uncanny Intro. Mm-hmm. It's the introduction to one of his beat tapes where he just asked me to spit on the intro track for it. I like Drip a lot. Drip was honestly written around the same time as the other joints that I said are years old. Mm-hmm. I wrote that around the same time, but I was like, yeah, I can repurpose it for this because it was originally written to a Jack Harlow instrumental. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, Drip is a solid one. Outside of those, Fancy Feast, he produced off of Me Cheese Today. Mm-hmm. Fucking FWYH, Fuck What You Heard off of Pearls, hits hard for me. Writer's Block sits really fondly for me. Fuck is it called? Bang Baby with Lukey Cage and Mondo Slade, and Go Off because Victor's on that joint, and like Victor's a great friend. Let me throw that out there. Victor's a great friend.
Yeah, he's good people. Yeah, straight up.
Yeah, and like knowing that Go Off transitions pretty well, just as like a song into the album of Pomades and Palomas is like really cool in my brain for like legacy shit of like showing the progression of how the three of us went off into his next record and shit.
Yes, he did, friend. Yo, McPanther, you talk about somebody supportive. Panther hit me up and he was like, "Yo, did you see that?" And I was like, honestly, actually, I think seeing your post and then McPanther hit me up. It might have been vice versa. I think he might have hit me up first because it was early, and then I saw your post. As a matter of fact, so again, shout out to McPanther. He the homie, always coming through, straight up. What a day. What a day.
It was a weird Tuesday.
It was a weird Tuesday. It was a weird Tuesday. At the end of the day, though, like, and I know I wasn't there for the funeral because I definitely was out of town. It was a beautiful thing to see so many people come out. Again, I've only lived in Atlanta for, at that time, about 5 years. And I've only known you all at that time for about 3, for real.
Yeah.
So it's just like, to see so many people come out, just from my perspective, that I've known for what is collectively a short time, I was just sitting that bitch like, yo, there is a lot of love here. These are a lot of genuine people that showed up to my parents' basement, my mother's basement, parents' basement, and who showed up to Hunter and Christie's. And I was just like, yo, this is beautiful. This is hard, but this is beautiful. How was Cassius's chicken curry?
Delicious. He would not, besides the bay leaf he would put in, that man did not eat his fucking vegetables. There was a day we were at Smith's old bar, and like we got some Chinese food from the spot next door. I see him picking out all his vegetables. I'm like, why you picking out your vegetables, nigga? And he's like, I don't like them. Not even the peas. The peas are slimy. It's not that I don't like vegetables. I'm like, I have never seen you eat a vegetable. He's like, that's not true. It's definitely true. I've never seen you eat a vegetable in your goddamn life.
Do you think that these last 2 questions are intentionally meant to be kind of funny? Do you think the shit that he took was actually heavy? At the end of the song,
probably
it's probably a pretty heavy.
Probably one. That man been taking some heavy fucking shit.
Heavy shits, man. He need to be in the bathroom for a minute. You be dropping the bombs, bro. For real. I'm glad I wrote this down because this Modelo's are starting to hit.
You can say that again.
He's a beautiful person, and that track was a very deep and I respect it. I thought it was a wonderful track. I thought about Fendi, and I could hear the pain. There's something to expressing pain about loss, to me personally, that I really appreciate, especially in a forum that is so open, like music, when you're putting this out, when this Idle Hands is not fully released. And so when it does, I hope people hear this song and it just takes them back to good times if they know him, good times that they've heard about him, or good times that, they've just seen, even if they didn't know him. They saw him from a distance and they're like, yo, this that nigga? Like, I really hope it does. He was awesome. It was I thought, a moment that was kind of cool to me. His father, I got a chance to talk to him and say, share my condolences. And he was like, you all are like my children. And I was like...
He said something similar at the funeral.
And so it's just like, I'm like, man, like, if at the end of the day, that's where your old man is at, that's how I know your heart is where it is. And Fendi's heart was always there. And so there's always much love. And, that's a homie that's going to always be missed. I've never forgotten, for real. To the people that were close to him and that fucked with him, just on at any level. You can't forget him. He's dope peoples. The last track of Idle Hands, Hammer in the Lake. There are moments when you do certain songs, like I spoke to you having jazz ensembles in the past. I was thinking about it as I was listening to it again last night, and I thought to myself, I'm like, I can't remember if it's in every song, but I feel like whenever there's a hard jazz ensemble, the music's usually a little louder than you are.
I think that's the thing that's common for like mixing with live instrumentation. I think hip hop music usually like has the vocal definitely on top.
Yeah.
But when it comes with live instrumentation, the vocal is a little pushed further back in the mix.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Maybe I'm just not that good of an engineer. I don't fucking know.
Well, I thought, as I was thinking about it, I just thought it was really cool because I'm like, if that is an intentional thing, that is very dope that you would put this jazz ensemble and give it, the spotlight while you are also telling a story over it. The song is called Hammer in the Lake. This is the last track of Idle Hands. My first question regarding is, what do you like about jazz ensembles so much that you incorporate jazz, and just jazz in general, really, not just the ensembles, but, that you incorporate it into your music? What do you like about it?
Jazz is a way of expressing yourself in a way that like electronic music does not. Electronic music, including hip hop, is you taking your samples and playing them. And you can of course like do effects on top that are live. I like to do that with my SP all the time and shit. But when it comes to live instrumentation, you are hearing it as it is played. If someone makes an on-the-fly decision for whatever recorded version you are listening to, you are going to get that off rip. You get to hear all the emotion that is played among every decision you make while playing. Sort of like emceeing, but with a different instrument. Instead of it's your vocal cords, it's a guitar, it's a bass. Yeah. If you're doing it electronic-wise, besides the effects that are put on top while you're doing it, it's whatever loops and samples that you are playing, it's all static.
You don't get, my thought is you don't get jazz without, you don't get rap without jazz. You don't get hip-hop.
You definitely can.
Without jazz. You just
definitely
literally cannot. Because you don't get jazz without blues. You don't get rock, you don't get country, you don't get a lot of things without jazz, and the blues. But for here, mostly jazz. Motown, none of that shit. Big band, it don't happen. So it's something that I think in our age group, it's being appreciated because there are crate diggers now. More crate diggers within the last 5 to 6 years than maybe in like the 2000s leading into, which was like a party era of hip hop. There's a lot of fun, there's a lot of fucking and drinking and smoking and all this shit. But it's also like you kind of lost, in the party you lost the elements of where hip hop comes from. And I think it's important to remember those. So that is personally a reason that like I enjoy jazz and I respect, so I feel you. It's one of the roots. It's one of the roots of the root for you all's, for your medium, for your music. It's a beautiful thing. Love some good fucking jazz, man. Who did that? Was that a sample or is that homies that you
There
know?
are no samples on that song.
No samples. So who are the homies that did that?
So the main instruments you hear throughout is done by my friends from the band Solar Plexus Super Punch. So shout outs to Lily Burrs on guitar, Sam Boss on the bass, Dylan Welch on drums, Steven Schlosser, I hope I didn't mispronounce your last name, Steven Schlosser on the keys. The guitar solos plural are done by Selim Palmer from the band Chris Benoit.
Mm-hmm.
You know Brother Brown.
I do know Brother Brown, bro. He's fucking.
And the saxophone is done by Quirkless.
Really? It makes sense. Shout out to Quirkless Wonder. Shout out to Brother Brown. Shout out to Solar Flex and Super Punch. I'm gonna tell you.
And Selim Palmer.
And Selim Palmer. I don't know them.
One of the guitarists for Chris Benoit plays with Monochrome Sweatsuit.
Oh,
Yeah.
so then I've met him. I've definitely met him.
Maybe.
I have. No, 100%, because I met the whole band at Controllerize like 2 or 3 years ago. It had to have been 2 years ago, in like 2022. Before there was that other corona outbreak that happened from.
Oh, word.
It was just before that. I'm not gonna lie, it was a couple weeks before. So I know I met him. But that is a great fucking group of people to have.
I made some good friends who are very skilled at the instruments they chose to play.
Deeply. Brother Brown and Quirkless Wonder especially. Now, and it's not just because I worked closely with them and they've helped me out and, you know, participated in my shits. Just hearing them, having heard them in person before and been like, yo, this is the reason I want to fuck with you. Y'all is cold-blooded. There's that. But then also, when I tell you, so, Lily and especially Sam, when I went to those shows and saw y'all's at the shows off of around Georgia Tech.
Yeah.
Yo, when I saw them girls playing, I was like, "Oh, they hard. They hard. I need more sound."
I met them when they were playing in their previous band before Solar Plexus.
Really?
And I was like,
right? I've not seen. Look, I ain't even. I mean what I say. I ain't seen white girls that play guitar like that ever in my life. Like, other than Tosh Sultana. It's a bad girl right there.
Also, Lily's, if I recall correctly, Jewish and Chinese, if I'm not mistaken.
Jewish and Chinese?
If I'm not mistaken.
Okay, so now they bad. They cold-blooded with the fucking instruments. I remember anytime I've seen them playing, I was like, yo, y'all hard. And I remember talking to Sam specifically and being like, yo, on that bass, you
cold.
You killing it.
She cold.
You killing it. I love bass guitar. I think a lot of people do. And Sam be killing that bass guitar. I never seen a white girl play bass like that before in my life.
I know, she dope.
She dope though. So huge shout outs to them. Huge shout outs to all the Solar Plexus Super Punch. Everyone that participated in this particular track. You say in the track, something's left when nothing goes right. So, I don't know this, but you made a mention that your mother or your family has a history in like Methodist Christianity or something to the effect of that.
Not necessarily Methodist. My mom would say it spiritual or some other word. I can't remember the other word, but definitely in the spiritual side of things of Christianity.
So I've never known you to talk about religion in really at all in a lot of our interactions.
You've missed a couple records, but yeah.
Well, just personally, like
sure, I'm not religious,
right? So, but I've thought to myself, you know, do you feel like you have the faith of a mustard seed?
Care to elaborate on that? What does that mean?
So, you know, in scripture, the idea, a lot of people don't, you know, they may not believe in God, which is for whatever, you know, whatever it is. It's your life. I ain't here to judge. But they say, you know, if you have the faith of a mustard seed, like, you know, God will protect you, kind of shits.
I don't necessarily believe in it, but
okay.
I don't know. I think we're masters of our environment. I think that through hard work and dedication, not to make this in like a capitalist kind of sense, but like I think we are able to achieve a lot of things through hard work and dedication. Not everything that we want, but yeah.
I was just wondering, like hearing the song and hearing that line, I was like, I wonder,
Is this a bad time to go piss?
There is no bad time to go piss.
I gotta piss like a pregnant racehorse.
You go ahead and piss like a racehorse.
On Adderall.
On Adderall. We will be back momentarily. As a matter of fact, I'm going to take the time to shout out some homies. So, if you haven't had a chance to keep up, follow Super M on Twitter. Follow Ringside VR on YouTube. Make sure you get a chance to keep up with what him and the squad are doing there, because there's some really cool shit going on in VR boxing right now, and I can't help but show love to the homies. Obviously, I have to show love to my homie Kenny, owner of Madness and Company, because if I don't, I feel bad and feel silly, and so I highly recommend and encourage you to check out Madness and Company. He makes amazing clothes. He's got some dope shit coming, and they're gonna be at MomoCon. And if you haven't gone to MomoCon, this is the year to do it. And specifically just to see them. Don't go for any other reason. Just go to see Madness and Company, because what Kenny has planned and what I've been seeing from him is really fucking cool. And I think a lot of y'all really appreciate it, and you're gonna want to take pics. Who else? So obviously the Uncanny Imp. Make sure you give a chance, take a moment to listen to Pearls Before Swine, Cheese Day, and any of the other music that they've put out before those two albums. Fucking Giant Robot Week is a great album. I really enjoyed that as well. Go back. I know I've been doing a ton of stuff with GudGameTV lately. I've been reading a lot and learning a lot of programming and sociology stuff. Take a time to go back and look at any of the producers that I've interviewed on our YouTube channel. Give them a listen. That means Brother Brown. Well, I've not interviewed Brother Brown yet, but I have interviewed Quirkless Wonder. That means Modem. That means Hunter. That means Akuma Santi. That means a lot of the homies that are within this Controllerized collective that have participated in beat battles. Give them a listen. Give them a watch. Give Pigeon a listen. Give him a watch. Give a lot of everyone that's participated some love, because I do think, especially now, we're moving into some weird times. And when times get weird, you gotta find a home. You don't have to find it in GudGameTV. That's not why exactly this was made. This was not to promote myself. This was made to help promote other people. It was made to be a platform for others, to help create an opportunity for people who may not necessarily have the option to just market themselves. I wanted to take time out. Everyone has their interviews. Everyone had, whatever, to been a part of these beat battles, whatever. Everyone that has been a part of these experiences. I wanted to give them something that they could use to present to you that reflected them as individuals. And so in that time when I was doing a lot of that, just take some time to go back, give it a watch on YouTube. It's the same name as you see on Twitch, kind of shit, and show some support to the homies out here in Atlanta. They're not the names that everybody, they're not your Drakes and your Sexy Reds, sure. At the same time,
Two bad bitches.
Not two bad bitches. What a beef. What a beef. I don't know. Okay. They are extremely creative people. They all have very unique sound, which I think in this time is something we need when you hear so much of the same shit over and over. And if you like that, cool. I like it too. I fuck with it. I've been listening to Mad Future. We Don't Trust You. We Still Don't Trust You. Great albums. A lot of his music before, awesome. 2 Chainz, love him. Fucking so many different people. I've been listening to Big X The Plug. I've been listening to all types of people. But, these are local people. These are people who, if you went to a Controllerized event, you've probably heard Hip Hop Heavy spit and play a beat. And if you haven't, you need to. Because Hip Hop Heavy is the truth. He is the fucking truth. You've probably
spitting and be making fire beats.
I'm telling you, okay?
Dope as fuck.
Tell them, and please. It's but these are people who are close to home. Especially if you're an Atlanta native, and if you're not, and you just come out here and visit, and you get an opportunity to, for somehow, because it really does feel like you gotta kind of, to some extent, leave the mainstream bubble and dive deeper into the music experience to engage with individuals like this. If you get a chance to do that and go to an event, and you're out here during the week and you get to hit controllerize, or you're out here one particular month and you get to hit oxygen up, go to those events, give them, give the people there, show them some love, give them their roses, show them some respect and appreciation, because they make some awesome fucking shit. What is it? A homie we've been bringing up here a couple of times, Francois Kistadua.
Kiss they do.
That's the homie. That's the homie. You talk about somebody who connects the squad in so many ways. Francois is that nigga straight up. And so, with that in regard, just those are a lot of my shout outs. Right now, while I may not be wearing Madness and Company, because I keep my apartment cold, and this is just what I wanted to wear today.
This is cold? The fuck?
Well, I don't have this door open. Normally it's colder, and we're also, two black folk, our heat level much higher, and the window's open. So there's a lot going on. The point is, I'm also rocking Quinoa Monster. So it's another local vendor, which was the large point of GudGameTV in general. And while I'm not doing it now, expect as the year goes on, I will be, in the next 2 months, I will be announcing what will be the final beat battle series of my time here. There will be 3 battles. The champions from the last series of battles that did not get to do a showcase will be invited to a show. And the champions in the next series of battles will also be invited to participate in the show. That show will take place sometime next year, before we get, we wrap a couple of things up. And so my goal is to essentially put on a festival of champions, so to speak, which will mean everyone will get paid within the means that I'm able to afford. I'm one dude doing all this shit.
That just means I get to play, and that's all I was.
And everyone that has been a champion under the GudGameTV beat, what I call the first one? It was the Good Game B&Bs, because it was off of Good Game Bread and Butters, and Master the Styles, which is the new name for Good Game B&Bs. Everyone will have, that will be the lineup. All the champions will make up that lineup. We will be, if I can, I will be flying out people. A particular person, shout out to Q, Mark Walt, make sure you give them a listen. And I will be, I have, a cool idea of what I want to do. What's gonna be important is finding the venue to do it. And hopefully,
I can help with that.
Well, I have a question for you about that after this is
for
done,
sure.
Anyway. However, that was, the time I wanted to give to make sure that people knew what was going on and make sure I showed some love to some homies that have been super supportive and that I fuck with hard. Thank you for taking the time to tune in right now. We have a couple more questions, and then we're going to be wrapping things up here. I know we've been going for a minute, but that's kind of how things go here. What usually supposed to be an hour and a half ends up being somewhere around 3 to 5 hours. I don't know how it happens. I just don't know. But anyway, back to it. We are talking about Hammer in the Lake. This is the final track on Idle Hands. Do you have an idea of when it's going to be releasing, by the way?
July 17th.
July 17th. Keep an eye out. I'm going to show you all something cool that I received, and I can't wait to open up in full at the end of the stream, because I don't get a lot of gifts. Except unless it's from Madness and Company. I'm not going to lie, because Kenny gives me a lot of shirts.
Madness and Company is cool as fuck.
Madness and Company is cool as fuck. So yeah. But I will be, I'm going to show you guys that in a moment. But getting back to it, the Uncanny Imp is back from pissing like a racehorse. And on Adderall. And, God, Adderall is crazy, dude. Yo, like, it's fucking nuts. Like, just to be awake for that long.
Do you know where babies come from? I just learned the other day. It's fucking nuts.
Okay, we're done. Okay. The next question about Hammer in the Lake. So, this song centers around some frogs, and a particular frog in a lake. And there is a hammer in the lake?
Grounding rod affixed to Nolmir.
A what?
Grounding rod affixed to Nolmir. First line of the song.
I did not understand what you said when you said. I listened. When I tell you I played that back so many times, I was like, what the fuck are they saying?
Grounding rod affixed to Nolmir.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So what do the frogs in the song represent?
Frogs.
Okay, good. Okay. What does the hammer in the lake represent?
Nolmir.
Mjolnir. You all know Mjolnir is Thor's hammer.
Mm-hmm.
That was created by Odin, which is really cool. Okay, so that was that question. What is the lake?
It's the lake.
Nice.
Probably
okay,
in
cool.
New York.
Awesome. Excellent.
I looked up species of aquatic life that you would find specifically in freshwater lakes in New York for this song.
Okay, so then break this song down for me, because those were my questions around this song. Because I did not I was wondering if there was something deeper here, but I also wanted to know the direction. Like, what is the song about? And
this song
it's really that.
This song was originally written as a feature for a local Atlanta band that broke up. I wrote this during the same sessions as my previous solo album, Me Cheesere. I was to do a trade of me writing lyrics and recording them for a sax line that I wanted to put on the song Fleece Sweaters. Okay. But as given by the guitar solo in Fleece Sweaters, that didn't happen. So since this band broke up, I was sitting around, I was going through a bunch of old files, seeing what could I do when I thought there was still going to be an EP of blues B-sides. I came across my demo for this, and I was like, oh shit, this exists. Call this band and see if they'll let me just have it. I'm having trouble reaching them. I can record this song with other performers, and I could use it for this record. So that's how Hammer in the Lake ended up on Idle Hands. The song in and of itself, surface level, it's just about a frog that's like, oh, we're all scared of this hammer that apparently had lightning abilities, but is suddenly like rendered dormant by the time it hits the bottom of the lake. This one frog is like, I'm gonna go check this shit out and hopefully save all of us from impending doom and whatnot. So that's it's surface level. If we want to dig deeper, this is a thing that I don't think hit me until long after I put all these songs together. But I think it fits as the outro because it's basically the only hopeful song on the record. Okay. Like master of your environment. If you want to see things change, you want to keep people safe and whatnot, you have to do that yourself. Hence the frog swimming down. Yeah. So that's a thing that I couldn't even put together until all the album was shoved together as one body of work.
It's beautiful. With this, like I said to you earlier, the fact that like this was not an easy album to put together. However, in the timing that you did it, to many people it could be misconstrued as easy.
Never.
In that, not just because you took songs from your past, but also in that this was literally like a couple of months after the passing of a close friend.
Yeah.
While emotionally it was not easy, the composition it could be misconstrued as such, and so I will say, like, to me, when it comes together the way it does, like this, I think there's something to it, and I hope there's something to it. I hope I'm not wrong. I don't believe I am. You've been putting out a lot of music, and it's fucking quality.
Thank you.
It's so good. You're one of my favorite rappers. Truly. No, I mean that sincerely.
I didn't think you were being disingenuous.
I talked to my brother about you. When I tell my older brother about some shit and some people, and then he's also like, yo, they're dope. Like, I'm like, yeah. You need to know your look. I get a lot of what I get from my older brother. So to like, just that's why it means so much to me. Because when he thinks something's dope and I know this person and he's not heard of them, to me that has a lot of weight to it and a lot of gravity. It's that's how close we are and how much his opinion matters to me. So it's shout out to my older brother as well. So it's seeing this come together and hearing this so many times. I never got tired of it. And it is one of those things where I love the vulnerability. I love your lyricism. I love how a lot of these stories are told. I love the execution. I cannot wait to listen to it again. I need it on Spotify so I can put songs on my playlist. That's why I do what I do. I listen to shit. I listen to albums and I dissect them and I put songs in playlists like a computer. Just fucking moving everything around. Like, oh, this is where this kind of shit. And so I look forward to that time. And I appreciate you for taking the time to do this and asking me to do this interview with you.
I appreciate you making the time out for me.
Yo, we manage time for the homies that deserve time. Seriously. I will manage my time for anyone who I believe deserves my time. True, and I mean that in the most sincere way. The same way that I pick niggas out for beat battles, it's the same thought process. Mm-hmm. I'm very fucking picky. I don't just give time or energy to anyone. Because if I do, I have in the past and it's gone to waste. I don't want to do that anymore.
Understood.
And so, with that in mind, Good Game TV, you talk about something being done because you want to do it. That's what this is. That was, in part, my start of this, is doing something that I wanted to do and removing the thoughts of anyone else from it. Which is why I can go away for a year and not give a shit. Truly. You know, or what is it? It's been since November was the last beat battle, so it's been 4 or 5 months, and it's not that I don't give a shit. I've just been busy doing other shit that's gonna help Good Game TV and myself. So it's just like, that's where this shit comes from, straight up. So the fact that you even reach out is a deep honor, because I never know. I don't live my life expecting or anything from anyone. I have things that I want, and I have things that I pursue. Those don't always, those aren't always the things for me. And so these moments where homies hit me up and they're like, yo, I want to do this, or, I want you to help me create this for me to be able to do XYZ thing. These are these blessings to me. And so if I can help bless you with the content that we make today, I'm glad to fucking do it. Because that's how it's meant to be. Type shit, So, thank you. Really, thank you so much. Now, also, like I said, do not engage in black magic. It's dangerous. Okay? But if you are going to engage with black magic at all, upon the release of this album and the single, Black Magic, you should engage with this shirt. Parental advisory, Black Magic, explicit content. This shirt is dope. I'm going to wear it. You will see me in it. Oh, I saw it. This shit right here is fire. Now, this is yours. This one is yours, right?
That's for you to own, but it's my shirt.
No, but I'm saying this. Okay, cool. We did. Okay, I didn't know. This is. I fuck with this logo. This logo's dope. Okay, so I'm excited. I want people asking me questions about this, and I appreciate it. This is an extra large, so it's nice, and it's gonna make me look slim. It's gonna make me look a little big, but I'm gonna look slim too. So I look forward to it, and thank you for the shirt. It's funny because this is almost like a whole coming back around, because I gave you a shirt in your last interview, and now you're giving me a shirt in your interview. So I really appreciate it. I really appreciate the gift. I'm excited.
I'm glad you like it.
I do. When I saw it, I was like, oh shit, I can't wait to open this. I know it's fucking dope. And you texted me, you're like, I don't know if it's gonna come in. I was like, it's fine. Like,
it came in like 2 days late, 2 to 3 days late.
It's fine. It came in right on time to me.
Damn Skippy.
Shit, like, everything to me happens when it's supposed to happen. Even when there are some things that I might push if I'm not supposed to have it, I know I'm not supposed to have it. If I think, and that means when I think I'm supposed to have it sometimes too. If I don't expect it, then I know, okay, I should have this. And now the lesson is to learn how to nurture these experiences and nurture these things. Which, that happens at different levels. How are you feeling?
I'm okay. not to be rushing, because I'm not doing that at all. But I'm excited to eat all this food and be a complete total mess while I do it.
Well, you should do that. That being the case, and because I want you to eat.
Don't rush this. I'm totally patient.
I'm not. We talked about this album. What would for when people listen to this album, what do you want them to come away with?
I would hope that they are able to tackle with their internal demons, and as not necessarily as comforting as nurturing and conductive of a manner as possible. I hope that they would appreciate the people that they have in their lives that they love while they still have them. I sound like I'm just repeating the same messages of me cheese today and pearls before swine.
It sounds like that's a fundamental desire.
It wasn't intentional. It wasn't intentional, but I guess we're here now. And I hope everyone eats some good food. This is probably the first record I did where I don't talk about food. Nope, second. Oh, I like food.
Food is delicious.
Yeah, I hope people eat some good food, that they show their love and appreciation for others, that they pull up to Oxygen, AUXIGEN, every other Wednesday at Thinking Man Tavern. And I think that's about it. And if you have the funds to do so, buy a record for me so that I can afford more food.
That is AUXIGEN, okay? Oxygen at Thinking Man Tavern. All right? Follow them on Instagram. Okay? I want you to follow Controller Eyes if you can show up next Monday. It's their 7th anniversary.
This Monday.
This upcoming Monday.
Sure.
It's their 7th anniversary. And we have Supreme Circuits on Sunday. We also, I feel like we have one more event that is going. No, Cartridge isn't going on right now.
Cartridge is monthly now.
Monthly
at
now?
Soul Play.
Okay, so keep an eye out for Cartridge. And also, they're running a tournament series right now.
At Soul
for
Play.
fighting games at Soul Play. So fucking follow Cartridge and fucking follow up with this tournament series. If you haven't been playing, play some Tekken. Okay? I don't care what other game you play. Go play Tekken 8. It's fucking tight. Whether you like it or not, OG Tekken players, I don't care. I think it's good and cool, even if it is buggy as fuck. So
I like Bethesda games. I can't complain.
Look, I love From Software games, okay? And those aren't buggy, they're just good. They're just good, hard times that cause mental stress and deliberation beyond what normal people are capable of. Are capable of handling. Like, seriously, it stresses. From Software games stress people out. They do. Stress me out. I haven't beaten Elden Ring yet. But I will, because the DLC is about to come out. Shout out to the Earth Tree. Play that shit too. Yeah. Follow Madness and Company. I don't care if you follow GudGamerTV or not. I'm not doing anything yet. So
Follow GudGameTV. I personally would want you to do so.
Thank you. I'm not doing anything yet. So when I do, though, you'll know. It's going to be full of Kung Fu. I've been reading a lot of Kung Fu manga. And, Kenji. Read Kenji. That shit's fire. KENGJI. That fucking manga is sick. And it's also going to have a lot of local talent. And it will also have a decent amount of vendors. And ideally some independent fighting game developers as well. Because that's what we're about here. We just want to show love to people who Cap thinks does cool shit. That's really it that he likes. It's very personal and very selfish. That's what GudGameTV is. I'll be working on a website. I'm working on a website and learning for a website and learning how to build a website. And, we're going to make some dope shit happen. It's as simple as that. Thank you. Seriously. Thank you for the time. And, Imp's got to eat.
I do.
I have some emails that I do need to look at for work because technically I am on the clock right now.
That's hilarious.
Shout out to my manager. He's good people. And yeah, it is. I think this feels feels solid. We both have had. I bought a 12-pack for us. You've had 4.
I've had 4.
I've had 5. You have 2 more.
Bad.
And I have to finish this one and 1 more. And we're gonna do that. And I downloaded Doom so Em could play Doom.
I'm about to play so much Doom.
Em's about to play so much.
I just re-downloaded it yesterday in preparation for today.
But if I get everything together, well, when I get everything together, there's a slight chance that the stream might come back on, so you can watch us both play Doom. It depends on what work is looking like, but it's Friday, so I can't imagine a lot of people, needing me outside of answering these approvals that I'm supposed to be answering. Thank you, McPanther. I appreciate you tuning in. Always.
Big shout outs, Panther.
Huge shout outs to McPanther. Look, I need y'all to. If you see McPanther around, give him some love, for real. Show him, dap him up, show him some love, follow his stream.
Panther gave me a ride home one day, and I was greatly appreciative of it.
Panther is an OG and a dope homie and very intelligent fellow, like really good peoples. Deserves a lot of love and respect, and I mean it. Truly, I do. So make sure you show McPanther some love. I really appreciate you being in chat, bro, and tuning in. Anyone else that tuned in and managed to stick around for almost 4 hours, 350.
It's been 4 hours?
It's been 4 hours.
No fucking way.
Yeah, we're going on 4 hours right now. I think the stream's probably, our interview's only about 2. But I think part of the stream is going on 4. It's been so close to 3 hours. Thank you for tuning in. It means a lot. And yeah, shout outs to my shorty. I hope she's doing all right and having a good day as well. Yeah. I hope y'all have a great rest of your fucking Friday. And this won't be the last time you see me. And just give it a couple months. We'll be back with more. All right. Got some planning to do and decent amount of life to live. So just live life, have fun. And make dope shit. Do that, please.
There are people who make shit happen, people who witness cool shit happening, and people who missed out. Make cool shit happen.
Make cool shit happen. And if you can't make cool shit happen, don't miss out on the cool shit that's happening, because there's some really cool shit happening around you. Straight up. Thank you.
Thank you.
This has been really cool. I'm going to cut off the stream. It might come back on. It might not. If it does come back on, it'll be the first and only time you ever see a first-person shooter on the GudGameTV stream. Ever. So, we playing... Em could be playing Doom. I could be playing Doom with him. Who knows? Who knows? We'll see. In the meantime, between time, GG's. Take it easy. Q told me that I could use this as a slogan. And I think I will. Thank you for tuning in to GudGameTV. It's good for you.
I like that.
Fuck with it. We out.
Peace.
Peace.